This is Wrexham against Nottingham Forest, the racecourse ground, Friday night, 5 Live and BBC Sounds. And let's see how Wrexham are going to cope against Premier League opposition for the first time since the new owners came in. Sean Dyche's first ever FA Cup game as a manager came with Watford against tonight's opponent coach Phil Parkinson. Parkinson was Bradford coach at the time. Watford won that tie back in 2012. And for Sean Dyche, I don't know if this is an omen of any kind, but this day last year he was sacked by Everton. It was just 3 hours before their FA Cup third round tie against Peterborough. So here he is a year on, and he's the coach of Nottingham Forest.
Well, good to be won against West Ham the other day, because imagine if he had lost that and then lost today, it definitely would have been an omen, Connor. So I think Sean Dyche, he's gone in there, has done a reasonable job, but this is a big football match, because I think the owner will want to go on a good run in the FA Cup as well.
Absolutely. Wrexham, who've never gotten further than the quarter-final stage of the competition. Nottingham Forest, who are two-time winners in the past. And Wrexham will go into this game on the back of 4 straight wins. They've taken the most points of any team, not just in the Championship, but any team in the EFL since Christmas. We are underway. Wrexham playing from left to right as we look down in red. Nottingham Forest in the change strip tonight in white with the dark shorts. And the Polkas had to play right in front of Sean Dyche, who has put on tracksuit bottoms. I saw him earlier on, Clinton. He was wearing shorts.
Yeah, but
now, I'm saying it's pleasant temperature. I mean, it's cold.
That's Dyche for you, though. That's definitely him. Having worked with him when he was out of a job, and he worked with me on 5 Live, he's brilliant. He was just itching to get back in. I'm happy he's back in. But, yeah, he doesn't feel the cold, Connor.
This is only the 3rd ever meeting of these clubs. They've never been in the same division as each other. 1 League Cup meeting in the past, 1 FA Cup meeting in the 80s. That's been it so far. As Forest have possession, Jair Cunha, who was a big money signing from Brazil in the summer, and he's not been able to play much. Of course, Murillo and Milenkovic are very much established as the 2 central defenders for Nottingham Forest, but Jair Cunha gets a chance to show what he can do tonight. Alexander Zinchenko, left-hand side with the number 35 on his back, rolls it back in field again to James McAtee, and Forest just trying to take any sting out of Wrexham by holding on to possession in these early stages and try to stamp a bit of authority on who the favourites for this cup tie should be. It's played up to Omari Hutchinson, gives it back in the midfield again to Douglas Luiz, over to the far side. Backwell will try and come in off the touchline. There's a low ball played to the feet of Zinchenko. And now into the penalty area, left-hand side, back, pulls it back, and arriving with a lot of pace there was Igor Jesus, and he puts the first shot of the game off target. Well, that's a statement of intent for Nottingham Forest. Their first period of possession, they work it into the penalty area, and they get a shot away.
Yeah, they do get a shot. It's good football. It starts from the right-hand side, and Ndoye does ever so well. Plays it to Zinchenko. Good ball to Bakwa, and it's a good ball, and he does fire it, and I just think Igor Jesus, he's running that pace. It's a difficult finish, but he's unlucky. It just goes over the bar, but you're right. Good start from Nottingham Forest.
Igor Jesus, who scored in the Europa League last month in the win against Utrecht. This is one of 4 FA Cup games this Friday evening. Let's see how things are starting at Preston taking on Wigan, and Sani Rajabajana is watching there for us.
Yeah, big chance just inside 40 seconds actually for Wigan Athletic. Hungbo down the left, crosses it in, and Callum Wright volleys, and it flashes just wide on the left-hand post. 3 minutes gone now. Preston North End 0, Wigan Athletic 0.
Well, we'll keep you across all the big FA Cup stories over the course of the weekend across 5 Live, across BBC Sounds, and you can follow every game on your local BBC radio station. You'll pick them up on BBC Sounds as well. There'll be live updates on the BBC Sport app. BBC Sport right across FA Cup third round weekend, as we always are, as the ball is played by Dominic Heim down the right wing for Wrexham. They get it into the penalty area, the Forest area for the first time, but it's easily picked up by Matt Sells, the Belgian goalkeeper wearing sky blue, away to our right-hand side, and he bowls it out low to Douglas Luiz, who's allowed to turn. Douglas Luiz, who was at Manchester City, he was at Aston Villa before going to Italy with Juventus. As the ball skips away from Dan Ndoye, and a lot of appeals from the home fans that he handled it there as the ball flashed towards him, and the referee blows the whistle, and that will be a free kick to Wrexham just outside their own penalty area, Clinton.
Yeah, Connor, it's been a good start from Nottingham Forest. Wrexham have just started to move the ball here, and the first touches they've got of it, but you can see it's an opportunity for players that haven't been playing regular, that want to impress Sean Dyche, and they've started on the front foot so far.
Good challenge in the midfield, and warm applause from Ben Sheaf as he wins possession there. And Longman on the right-hand side gives it back into Sheaf, who's got the number 18 on his back, yellow boots, runs up to the halfway line, plays it back to the right-hand side to Ryan Longman. and he's now midway inside Nottingham Forest territory. He comes infield of Zinchenko, gives it to the edge of the penalty area. Sheaf involved in the move for a third time. On his shoulder, on the left-hand side, is George Dobson. And Wrexham holding on to possession here, playing it back to the halfway line once again, and Dan Scarr. And this is the composure of Wrexham. I mean, for all the sort of David Goliath elements, they know they don't need to rush this. They need to trust their own process, trust their own abilities tonight. That it's not so much a miracle as if they can play at their best, then that could be enough to trouble Nottingham Forest.
Oh, definitely. With the changes Forest have made as well, without a shadow of doubt, they got to come into this game full of confidence.
Douglas Luiz tries to play a ball forward, but that's comfortably intercepted now. Chance of a counter-attack. Broadhead comes on the sprint over the halfway line down the left-hand side. Gloves on tonight in the cold, but he plays a ball infield that's very easily cut out by Morato. Big Morato, the Brazilian, then loses possession, and he's over-forceful in trying to win it back again. He gives away a free kick just inside his own half, so that's a free kick to Wrexham on the left-hand side, and we go for an update from Port Vale and Adam Cottier.
0-0 here between Port Vale and Fleetwood of League Two, but Port Vale have just had an opportunity. Great run forward from George Hall, ended up with a chance for Jayden Stockley. His shot was blocked and deflected wide. Port Vale 0, Fleetwood 0.
Wrexham take the free kick, they roll it to Longman on the right-hand side. Forrest have got everyone back behind the ball at the moment. This is Dominic Heim, low ball towards the edge of the penalty area to Rathbone, and Wrexham seeing more possession now, Clinton.
Yeah, they are. That's better for them. The likes of Ben Sheaf and Dobson, in particular Ben Sheaf, is important for them. Broadhead will drop deep because he wants to get on the ball, and Smith will make the runs in behind.
0-0 on 5 live for the early stages at Wrexham under the beaming floodlights, as Heim is challenged by Backwell. The ball goes out of play, and that's a throw into Wrexham on the right-hand side.
You know what, Connor? It does confuse me that Connor Cody doesn't even get a run. Even when you make changes now, and he's not in the team in the Championship, and I don't think he's played for a long time, but I think in a free, I thought it'd work perfectly well, especially in a game like this tonight with his experience.
Yeah, Connor Cody, who has been an unused sub in each of the last 5 games in a row. He's only made 5 appearances for Wrexham since joining the club in the summer. I'd imagine, though, I mean, we know him and he's worked with 5-5 regularly. Good guy to have in the dressing room, good guy to have on the training field, and I'm sure if he's not in the team, he won't be sort of creating a stink about that, and it'll all be about the team doing well.
Yeah, definitely. He's that kind of character. He's a team player, and I think Parkinson would have brought him in for that, his experience and the way he is around the dressing room.
So Wrexham have possession on the halfway line. Touch in there from Kikachi. They're trying to play it forward to Broadhead here. He's done well. Tries to flick it off back to Kikachi, who was with him close by, but Forest regained possession. They have it with Nicolo Savona on the right-hand side, and he is charged down by Sam Smith as he tries to clear the ball away. Forest do still have possession, but their throw-in is in that right full-back position for them. So 7 FA Cup commentary starting with this one across Saturday, Sunday and Monday to come on 5 Live. Plenty more as well on Sports Extras, Extra 2 and Extra 3. Tomorrow from 12 noon you can join our build-up to Macclesfield against Crystal Palace. That's the lunchtime game. We'll bring you Fulham against Middlesbrough from 3 on 5 Live. Spurs against Villa at 5:45. And there's a nighttime game as well in the FA Cup third round tomorrow. Charlton Athletic against Chelsea. And you can listen to that one at 8 o'clock. And I believe that they're expecting the biggest home crowd in an FA Cup game in half a century at the Valley tomorrow when Chelsea visit Charlton Athletic. Here at the Racecourse Ground in North Wales, Rathbone has possession. Plays a short pass infield to George Dobson. Dobson, who's only started 1 of the last 4 games for Wrexham. Back into defence again then, and Dan Scarr. No real high press from Forest here. They're happy for Wrexham to have possession inside their own final third. And now Wrexham tried to play through the middle of the midfield, and Morato was able to nip in and win possession back for Forest again, and they have it with Savona on the right-hand side. So Nottingham Forest hoping to show their Premier League pedigree here. But both teams taking it fairly safe and cautious so far, Clinton.
Yeah, they are, to be fair. There's not lots of runs in behind. I think it's neat and tidy, the possession, but you want to stretch defences. It's 2 in front of Forest, in front of Wrexham at the moment. I think the fullbacks and the wide men for Forest are going to be key.
Here comes Savona down the right-hand side for Nottingham Forest. Low balling towards the edge of the Wrexham penalty area. Dominic Heim is well positioned and able to clear the ball away. It's picked up by James McAtee, who's played against Wrexham in the FA Cup before. He was in a Sheffield United team a few years ago. We mentioned that went to a replay and won back at the Bramall Lane in the second match. Wrexham again win possession back on the edge of their own penalty area. Now they've got to hold on to it. Dobson to Longman under a lot of pressure there from Bakwa. But Sheaf, who's really stood out so far with the energy he's been portraying, battles for it, and that brings warmth out. That just drums up the atmosphere a little bit here. Wrexham fans who've sort of sat back almost respectfully. And I remember being here a few years ago, that Sheffield United match, Clinton. It was a bit more raucous, a bit wilder to sort of create that intimidating atmosphere for the visiting team from a higher division.
And that's what you want. You know these are noisy fans here, but you've got to give them something to shout about. And it could be something like that, Connor, a tackle from Ben Sheaf. Fans they like that more than the probably technical side of stuff, where someone makes a tackle, it gives everyone a lift, and it gives the crowd a lift and the players a lift, and they need that at the moment.
Otter Okonkwo, a goalkeeper who's been with Wrexham for several years now, working his way up through the leagues with them. Former youth player at Arsenal in the past. Down the right-hand side comes Ryan Longman, delivers a good ball into the penalty area. Rathbone was arriving, that was a difficult one to control, but he's done very well. Rides the tackle of Zinchenko. Wrexham still have it here in an attacking position. George Dobson back out to the right-hand side. Here comes the delivery from Longman, but it's met at the front post. Douglas Luiz back helping out the defence there as Forrest trying to clear it away, and Hutchinson is going to put a bit of pressure here on Dan Scarr, who was just about solid enough for the challenge, and then the ball is lumped forward again up towards Sam Smith, who's got two big burly defenders around him, but he's been fouled, and there's the roar of the Wrexham fans as they get a free kick midway inside Nottingham Forest territory. It's Wrexham 0, Forest 0 on 5 Live.
Connor, one thing with Smith, he's a nuisance. He'll put himself around him, try and cause problems, and he'll enjoy his battle with Morata. It's different when it's Milenkovic and Murillo, because they're the natural, but these are two players that have not played a lot of football recently between them, so good opportunity at the moment. I gotta say one thing on the left hand, Zinchenko has to go and close Longman down. He's looking for backward to get back in. He has to do his job, Zinchenko.
Defending set pieces has been a well-known problem for Nottingham Forest this season. They did a dreadful run during Ange Postecoglou's brief reign, where they were conceding set piece goals virtually every game. Let's see how they set up for this one. All 11 players back behind the ball defending it. George Dobson is standing over the free kick, number 15 on his back, and he plays it short to Ben Sheaf. 15 yards or so outside the penalty area. Patient this from Wrexham. Back to Ollie Rothbun, still outside the penalty area. Now on the right-hand side, he'll turn, he'll roll it back to Dobson again. Wrexham still have possession here, but I'm kind of surprised they didn't put it into the mix of the free kick. And there you go, they lose possession, Clinton.
That was the worst free kick I've seen in a long time, Connor. Let's be honest. I knew they were trying to get an angle to move it because it was dead central. But then put the ball into the box. You've got the centre-backs coming up. As you said, go and test Nottingham Forest. But, yeah, poor free kick.
It's almost too comfortable there from Wrexham. You want them to press the envelope a little bit, ask questions, take risks, if they're going to pull off a scalp of a higher league opponent tonight. There are 12 league places between these two, and you work your way up from the Championship and just outside the playoff positions where Wrexham are, and then up into the Premier League and just above the relegation zone where Nottingham Forest currently reside. Forest have it with Morata, 0-0 here on 5 Live. Gives it to Zinchenko on the left-hand side, the experienced Ukrainian. Under pressure from Rathbone, he goes back to Morata. Then Douglas Luiz makes himself available in the midfield. No high press on him, so it's a short pass to little James McAtee, who's always so neat and tidy. He's got Ndoye available on the left-hand side. Two defenders come across to try and close him down. Forest are now midway into the Wrexham half. Zinchenko gives it back to Douglas Luiz once again. And Forest have been patient in their build-up here as Ndoye tries to take it on. First touch beyond Longman, but he puts it out of play. And cheers from the Wrexham fans as that goes out for a throw into the home team. 0-0.
Yeah, he's trying to take a big touch to run Longman down the line, but he should try and control that. Ndoye, a big game for him because he's not been a regular in the Premier League team, so he'll want to impress. Where at the start of the season, he was starting a lot of games for Forest. Yeah,
it's a first appearance tonight in almost a month for Dan Ndoye. As we will bring you up to date with one of the other 7:30 kickoffs in the FA Cup this evening. MK Dons are hosting Oxford United. Here's Emily Herbert.
0-0, but the League Two side with early pressure against the struggling Championship team. Scott Hogan slipping the back line, who once scored a hat-trick for Rochdale against Oxford, has his shot blocked. 14 minutes in, MK Dons 0, Oxford 0.
MK Dons unbeaten in their last 7 home games. We'll be pleased to have the home advantage this evening here at the racecourse ground. This is Otter Okonkwo. He's got short sleeves on tonight, in contrast to many of the outfield players with the long sleeves and the gloves this evening. Offside flag is raised after the long clearance up the field, but Sam Smith had strayed offside. So it's a free kick to Nottingham Forest here, midway inside their own territory. It's been a funny season, hasn't it, for Forest, starting with Nuno Espirito Santo. Then Ange Postecoglou comes in. then Sean Dyche. I mean, three very different managers. It must be strange being in that dressing room this season, Clinton.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, we know what happened with Nuno. He done a brilliant job last season, but he moves on. Then you bring in Ange Postecoglou. Everyone's happy, but it didn't really work out. For me, it wasn't the right appointment. And I think when you're a club like Forest and you're in trouble, I think Sean Dyche is a really good appointment.
0-0 for the moment on 5 Live. Dominic Heim in possession for Wrexham. Gives it into the midfield. Dan Sheep helps it on. Now Broadhead. Over to the left-hand side. Kikachi has come forward. Plenty white Forest shirts back, though, blocking the access route down that right-hand side. Nice little bit of control, mind you, from Doyle. And he keeps it going here, almost into a crossing position. Kikachi tries to send it in. It comes off Jer Cunha. And for a moment, it looked like it was going to go out for a Wrexham throw. And eventually the ball does go to play. And it will be possession to Wrexham, attacking position down that left-hand side. They wouldn't let Forest out easily there.
No, they're not doing that. They've been on the front foot at Wrexham. I think Forest started well the first 5, but it's been Wrexham who's the team who looks the most likely at the moment.
Already this season, Nottingham Forest have been knocked out of a cup competition by a Welsh side. They were beaten in the League Cup by Swansea back in September. This season, Wrexham, who reached the 4th round of the League Cup before they were beaten by Cardiff. First time that Wrexham had reached the 4th round of that competition since the 70s. But an FA Cup run, you just know that the high-profile nature of it, the owners would absolutely love that. Kikachi tries to come on the attack down the left-hand side for Wrexham, but he's held up by Savona. Savona, who's very tall for a player playing fullback. I mean, he's arguably taller than Cunha Morata in field of him. He must be 6'5", something like that, playing it right back this evening for Nottingham Forest. 0-0 here. Let's go back to Deepdale. Preston North End against Wigan Athletic, and Sadi Rajavangela's watching this.
Well, it's 0-0, but a huge opportunity for Wigan to take the lead. It's a ball over the top. Dara Costello, former Burnley man, he's onside. He brings it down well, carries it forward and shoots wide as the Preston backline were hurrying back. Preston 0, Wigan 0.
So no goals yet in the FA Cup this evening. The 4 games taking place at 7:30. By the way, match of the day highlights for the FA Cup tomorrow night at 10:40 on BBC One. You'll see all the goals from tonight and tomorrow in that programme on BBC One. Zinchenko on the attack here for Nottingham Forest. McAtee into the penalty area for Omari Hutchinson. And he's outnumbered and he's outfoxed, and Wrexham were able to regain possession. And coming out for the back, Longman. Then he tries to take it a touch too far, and McAtee is in to relieve him of the ball. Wrexham should have cleared it away there. This is Savona out to the right-hand side. And Ndoye will try and swing one in. In fact, that was backwards crossing. This is Douglas Luiz. Ball's into the back of the net. Wrexham want an offside flag, but the flag isn't raised. And the referee is hesitating, but then he blows the whistle and he points. And is it going to be a goal? Wrexham are complaining. Douglas Luiz is still celebrating.
Yeah, he's pointing to a goal.
The visitors take the lead.
No, he's not. He's pointing to handball. I think it must be handball. I think initially they wanted a handball, so I think he's given it as a handball. I don't think it's offside. I think it might be handball.
That is so confusing, the way Paul Tierney, who's an experienced referee, indicated that.
Do you know what he was doing, Connor? He's looking at the linesman.
Yeah.
He was looking at the linesman to make the decision. The linesman didn't make the decision. Then he put it back to the spot, and you're thinking it's a goal. But I think it may be for handball. That is what they've done it, because he didn't look offside.
No, there was no flag. He didn't look offside. It was a good finish, Douglas Luiz, close range. But much to the relief of Wrexham, and even the scoreboard indicated Nottingham Forest
it's
won.
Handball. It is handball. Yeah, I thought it was handball. It's handball, I think, Connor.
Handball is the reason. And just to remind listeners who will be aware of this, but FA Cup third round, there is no video assistant referee. Now, I know people will be distraught about this, Clinton, but there is no VAR to look back on.
I like it. Do you like it, Connor?
I like it. I think
this is in my era. This is my game.
Exactly. No, yes. And I do think VAR has eliminated an awful lot of silly errors. Yes. However, isn't it nice and refreshing on a night like this where we just don't have it for once?
Exactly.
And if someone's offside by a toenail, the goal is going to stand. Here is Zinchenko, left-hand side for Nottingham Forest. So that is the first of the 9 lives maybe used up by Wrexham tonight. You know, to beat a Premier League club when you're a lower division team, you need a share of luck, and they get that handball decision. And it was a blatant handball. The TV replays, although not monitored by the referees, do show that was a handball. So it's the correct decision. Good old-fashioned refereeing spotted it, and that goal for what would have been for Douglas Luiz a first goal for Nottingham Forest does not stand, but it is a little bit of a warning for Wrexham with the quality that they're up against this evening. Here comes Ndoye down the left-hand side, level with the edge of the penalty area that Nottingham Forest are attacking. Zinchenko will give it to Hutchinson on the left-hand side. Now, here comes the cross in, just held up by Igor Jesus. Ndoye tries to shoot, too many bodies in the way, and the shot is charged down, and Wrexham breathe a sigh of relief as it's launched long back into the Forest half. But plenty time there for Jay Cunha to get there first and roll it back to Matt Sells. Clinton Morris.
Yeah, they're starting to dominate now, Nottingham Forest. You can see Douglas Luiz making good runs into the box. It was a good layoff. Good shot from Ndoye, but good defended.
Here comes Douglas Luiz, who's very clever at finding space in the crowded midfield. His pass this time goes awry, however, and then a misplaced clearance again from Ryan Longman, and that's twice that he should have cleared the ball away and didn't. Savona picks it up on the right-hand side for Nottingham Forest, and the Premier League club regain possession once again. Douglas Luiz to Zinchenko, to the near touchline, just down below us, and to Ndoye, who lofts it in high and early, looking for Igor Jesus, but too close to a Okonkwo, and the Wrexham goalkeeper is able to make the save. 0-0.
Yeah, it's poor play from Ndoye because it's hard for Igor Jesus. He's against three defenders. He's got to wait till Hutchinson gets in there. Luiz and Bakwa should be looking off that back post as well.
4 FA Cup matches underway, all scoreless so far. A goal disallowed here for Douglas Luiz as Longman gets into a crossing position down the right-hand side, and he plays it off the shins of Zinchenko, and that for the first time is a corner to Wrexham on the right-hand side.
Let's see if they go short, Connor, or pull it in the box. You saw what the last free kick was. I'm sure this is going into the box.
I was at West Ham on Tuesday when Nottingham Forest conceded from a corner. They scored from a corner as well, Forest, but it has been a vulnerability for them in defensive areas, and it's no surprise here that Wrexham are sending virtually everyone forward here. Ryan Longman is hovering back a little bit. Kakachi, the 2 wing-backs. Everyone else is up inside that penalty area, which is congested as the corner is taken short, and Sheaf gives it to the edge of the box, and no one's marking Rathbone, and he drilled it in with menace. Oh, we were right behind that. It's deflected out for a corner. That was a wicked shot from Rathbone, and was it not for the deflection, I wonder if Sells would have got to that.
Yeah, it was a well-worked corner. I was a bit disappointed they didn't pull it in, but they had a plan, and Rathbone, we know he's technically really good, and you're right, Connor, right behind it. I thought it was going into the far corner. It took a big deflection, and Sells was scrambling.
0-0 it remains. George Dobson goes across to take the corner kick from the far side. This will be a right-footed in-swinger. Wrexham playing from left to right as we look down in this first half. Dobson, who came in as a free transfer from Charlton at the start of last season, raises his left hand as a signal. Here comes the delivery. This one's whipped into the box, and it's met at the front post, and it goes out again, and it's a third corner in quick succession for Wrexham, who are absolutely holding their own here. They got away with the disallowed goal, but in terms of general play, you don't see the huge gulf here between Premier League and Championship at the moment.
No, definitely not. It's a good ball in from Dobson. I think it's Cunha at the near post, defends it ever so well, but he whips it into a dangerous area, and you're right, they're holding their own at the moment for sure, Connor.
Corner back out on the right hand side again, and still a patient huddle of players awaits the delivery in the centre. Dobson's come across to take it again. Sheaf is lurking on the edge of the penalty area again. This one is lofted in towards the back post. There's a jump, there's a header down. The flag is raised. So I wonder did the ball go out of play and come back in again, because the flag went up straight away. So it went out, came back in. That means goal kick to Nottingham Forest, and this one remains Wrexham 0, Forest 0.
Connor, you're spot on. You've got great eyes. Even from this distance, you could just spot on it. The ball did go out.
Yes, we've got an unusual, shall we say, commentary position compared to our Premier League standards here. We're down close towards the pitch. We're far off to the left-hand side. We have a much better view of the penalty area that Wrexham are defending in this first half than they're attacking. But that's all the magic, Clinton, of
that's
the
what we
FA
like. Yeah, you
Cup.
can't
That's
always
why
be
we're
spoiled.
here.
That's why we love being here. And you're right, Connor. It is the magic of the FA Cup.
You can smell the deep heat. I
Yes.
haven't seen a tinfoil FA Cup yet, disappointingly.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm sure it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, we'll see it. Maybe if Wrexham take the lead, it might be out.
That's they'll be running down the shop getting the cardboard. When you were a kid, did you ever make a tinfoil FA Cup?
All the time.
Good,
I was always
good.
dreaming about it. If you don't make that, you're not enjoying life, are you?
Ball over the top for Igor Jesus to go in pursuit of here. Down the left wing for Nottingham Forest. 2 defenders come out to try and get close to him. Wrexham working really hard out of possession. Hutchinson takes a tumble on the edge of the box, and he's adjudged to have been fouled by Dobson, who had sprinted back to get in position and just seemed to connect a little, coming together with Hutchinson. It wasn't a big lunge or anything, but referee Paul Tierney was right beside it, and he said that's a free kick just outside the penalty area, wide on the left-hand side.
Yeah, I think he didn't expect. We all know Hutchinson's quick, but I think Dobson was just a bit short, and he just got there before him. It's a dangerous position here, especially with the delivery from Douglas Luiz or Zinchenko.
0-0, 5 Live and BBC Sounds this FA Cup third round weekend, and a free kick to Nottingham Forest, which Douglas Luiz, the Brazilian international, and Alexander Zinchenko been standing over. Zinchenko's now moved away, so it is going to be the right foot of Douglas Luiz, and we are right behind this. And you can imagine he's just going to play this in hard and hope it comes off someone. That's what he does. Low, hard bang. Okonkwo dives, and Forrest, unfortunate, didn't quite sit up for Hutchinson. That would have been a tap in, but it came at a funny angle for him. Okonkwo's save has done well. Wrexham are trying to fully clear this, but Forrest still have possession for the moment. McAtee on the right hand side has a look up. Loads of teammates in the middle here. Plays it in, can't get the height of the elevation. Smith is back helping out the defenders, and he clears the ball away, but he's the centre forward, so when he clears it, there's no one to play it up to, and Zinchenko's got a lot of time to settle, and now McAtee will stroke it back into the penalty area again, just too high for Igor Jesus, and that goes out for a goal kick to Wrexham, and they breathe a sigh of relief again. 25 minutes played, Wrexham 0, Nottingham Forest 0 and 5 Live.
Yeah, you're right. Okonkwo does ever so well. I knew it would be a great ball from Douglas Luiz. He kind of whipping it towards the far post and trying to get runners across him. Okonkwo sees it the whole way, and then it's a poor ball from McAtee. You know, he's one player I want to see do better, Connor. I thought he was very good when he was at Man City. I know he hasn't been given the starts, but in a game like this, he has to take his opportunity.
Yeah, 7 Premier League appearances for Nottingham Forest so far for James McAtee. He's only had 1 start in the top flight this season, and as talented as you are, he's going to have to get a few more miles on the clock before we fully see what he's going to do.
Yeah, definitely, you're right, and it's hard to probably get into Forest's Premier League 11 at the moment, but he's got to keep believing, and it's opportunities like tonight where if you can showcase your ability, he gives Sean Dyche food for thought.
This time last year, James McAtee played for Manchester City in the third round. You might remember they put 8 goals, was it, against Salford. He scored a hat-trick in that game in the FA Cup, James McAtee. He's now part of this Nottingham Forest midfield. Wrexham of possession. Did the ball go out of play there? It did, before coming back in again. So that's going to be a throw into Nottingham Forest, right in front of the dugouts, right in front of a very animated Sean Dyche. And we're too far away to hear the gravelly voice, but you know it's booming over there from Sean Dyche. He's got that tracksuit which is sort of very tight, you know, where he zips that up. That's right up against the chest, isn't it? He likes to pull the zip right up to the chin, to Sean Dyche.
It's better than a suit that he used to wear, didn't he? We used to give him stick about his suits. He's like, all right, I'm going to change to a tracksuit, and they went on a winning run, didn't they? Yeah, you got to love Sean Dyche. I'm glad to see him back in management.
He will do anything, sartorial or otherwise, to get an advantage, Sean Dyche. I remember he did when he was a Burnley manager, doing a game at Turf Moor, which was, I don't know, was it called up, but there was loads of snow on the pitch, and everyone said how cold, and he came out in shirt sleeves to try and help get the snow off the pitch. Here comes McAtee into the penalty area, wants to play a 1-2 with Zinchenko, but it breaks down, and Wrexham were organised there, plenty bodies back behind the ball, they could shield it out. It's a goal kick to Wrexham, still 0-0 here with almost half an hour played.
Yeah, good play there between Zinchenko and McAtee. Just takes a heavy touch, and they're coming under pressure a bit now, but you expect that. They're a Premier League team, Nottingham Forest. Even with the changes they've made, they are going to dominate possession.
You know, it's easy to forget, this time last year, January last year, Nottingham Forest were 3rd in the Premier League. They were going great guns under Nuno Espirito Santo. People were thinking, are they going to qualify for the Champions League? And that belief carried on well into the new year last campaign. And in the end, they ended up in the Europa League, which, you know, consider they only came up a few seasons back, is a fantastic achievement, a real sign of going in the right direction. And that's why this season has been the disappointment. This has been the first setback since that promotion in 2022.
Yeah, you're right. And they signed a lot of quality players, and you're thinking they're going to kick on again this season. But they've had a lot of managers, and it's been a stop-start season. But can they have a better second half of the season? Forest
to concede a lot of goals. They haven't kept a clean sheet in the Premier League since August. And you know, Wrexham will have done all their homework. They'll be aware of that vulnerability at the back. Sam Smith trying to put a bit of pressure on Giacunia here, and Morata comes across. Nothing fancy from Morata. Doesn't try to clear it away to a teammate, just passes the ball out of play so that his other teammates can come back and get in position, as Rathbone has it on the left hand side, trying to wriggle clear and find a little bit of space. And Giacunia helped out by Nicola Savona, and they're all appealing that the other foul's there. But I think the decision has gone to Nottingham Forest, right full back position for them.
Yeah, it's a bit of baptism of fire for Cunha. You know, he has to realise he's playing against a championship team. You're not going to get that much time on the ball. Sam Smith's not going to give you time on the ball, and he's going to try and rough you up. So yeah, this is going to be a good game for him and a good test for him as well.
You know, I saw Gerard Cunha play last summer with his old team Botafogo. He was in America at the Club World Cup, and the conditions could not be any more different. That was Florida, and it was like 1,000,000 degrees, and we were melting. And here we've got snow on the hills, and it's freezing in Wrexham. But I thought Gerard Cunha looked a really good player, and you know, we mentioned earlier we have not seen much of him, but this is a guy who was very highly thought of in Brazil, and seen as a coup that Forest were able to get his signature. Tonight he's starting alongside Morato, an old Brazilian central defensive pairing for Sean Dyche tonight.
Yeah, it's hard for him. It's been hard for him because obviously you got Murillo and Milenkovic, but he's not even been in and amongst the bench. So this is a good opportunity for him tonight. You know, just to say to Sean Dyche, I'm here if there's injuries to centre backs.
He's only a baby as well.
Exactly.
Gerard Cunha is only 20 years of age.
Yep.
They'll be planning him as one for the future. Yeah. Wrexham of possession, playing it out of defence with Dan Scarr. Well closed down that time though by another Dan Ndoye, and the ball goes out of play. Forest have it now in the midfield, but they're going to lose it here. Mistake by Morata. Chance for Wrexham. They're streaming forward. 3-on-2 if they're quick enough. Into the penalty area. Smith across the face of goal and wide. It's the first big chance for Wrexham tonight. One mistake from Morata, and it was almost punished, but Smith couldn't find that bottom corner he was looking for.
Yeah, and this is what I tell you, Connor, the centre halves, Morata as well, you can't take a chance when you're playing against these championship players because they'll be breathing down your neck. He wants a foul there. No, get on with it. It's good play from Broadhead, to be fair. I didn't think he saw the pass. He did see it, and Smith's unlucky. With the form he's in, you'd expect him to work sales in the Forest goal. Yeah,
good decision making by Broadhead there. He wasn't selfish. He made the right call. And Smith, who has got goals in each of his last 2 games, scored last time out in the win against Derby on Sunday. He scored at Blackburn in the game before that. He's the man they would have wanted that chance to fall to, but up against Matt Sells, he put it wide of the target. So that's big opportunities for both teams now. Forest with the disallowed goal for Douglas Luiz, and now that opportunity, Sam Smith, for Nottingham Forest, as Douglas Luiz here is in possession for the visitors, plays it into the midfield, back again to the bearded Brazilian Douglas Luiz, and he passes out towards the right hand side, helped on by McAtee to Savona, who's coming forward here. We're going to go for an update to Vale Park in just a moment, but Forest are on the attack. Ball is played into the penalty area by Ndoye, and it'll be flicked out for a corner. So go quickly to Port Vale. Here's Adam Cottier.
Still Port Vale 0, Fleetwood 0, but Devante Cole, playing against his former club, just had a really good chance. 6-yard area, rising shot, tipped over by the Fleetwood keeper Harrington. Port Vale 0, Fleetwood 0.
Thanks very much, Adam. Corner kick about to be taken by Douglas Luiz. Big stadium clock behind him saying 31 minutes 25 seconds. Wrexham 0, Nottingham Forest 0. 5 live for the BBC. Raises his left arm as a signal. Here it comes, in swinging from Douglas Luiz, punched away acrobatically. Artur Okonkwo, who's commanded his 6-yard box well in this opening 31 minutes so far.
Yeah, Okonkwo, he did ever so well there, because Douglas Luiz whips a great ball into the box, and he has a lot of bodies around him, and usually I'm always saying to my goalie to catch it, but he does well with the punch.
Still no goals in the 4 games tonight in the FA Cup 3rd round. So here comes the latest Nottingham Forest corner from the far side. This one's high and lofted, and a header by Ryan Longman. Hasn't fully cleared the penalty area yet. Ollie Rathbone has got a bit of work to do here. Touches it back into Dominic Hyman. He will clear. And this is one to chase. George Dobson goes in pursuit after it. Morato much more composed this time. Judges the bounce better. And Nottingham Forest have possession of the halfway line. And Morato plays it up forward. There's a fancy flick by Ndoye. That's a bit of Premier League quality now. Hutchinson hurdles over a tackle. Tries to get into a shooting position. But there's always one more Wrexham defender. This time it was Hyme. And the Welsh club were able to clear the ball away. And that's a good one too. Longman now scorching down the wing on the right hand side. Ndoye tries to get back goal side of him. Every time they come over the halfway line, there's a big roar for the Wrexham fans. Wrexham holding on to possession here, back on the halfway line once again, and with Callum Doyle.
Yeah, Hutchinson, he's got to do better than that, Connor. He's beat the guy once or twice, then took a heavy touch. Sean Dyche and his team want a foul earlier. No, get on with it and get your shot away, Hutchinson. You do well. I think he's got great natural ability, but them areas there, that's where he needs to loosen up, tighten up, and get his shot away.
Long clearance by Okonkwo. Morata jumping in the air up against Smith, does well to get the ball down on the deck, and then he rolls it to the right hand side and to Savona. 0-0 it remains. McAtee, 10-15 yards inside his own half. Morata goes long again, this time looking for a run made by Hutchinson, but the pass is ever so slightly overstruck, and that goes out of play, out for a goal kick to Wrexham, who continue to very much hold their own here with 11 minutes remaining in the first half.
Yeah, they are holding their own. They've not really, no goalkeeper's been actually worked, have they, fully, Connor, where you can say outstanding save or an outstanding chance.
Wrexham, who last season were beaten in round 1 against Harrogate, but each of the 2 previous campaigns, Wrexham got as far as the 4th round. Right, we've got our first goal of the night in the FA Cup. It's come at Stadium MK. Here's Emily Herbert.
And it's the League Two side in front. MK Dons 1, Oxford 0. Aaron Collins from a corner falls nicely for him inside the 6-yard box on the turn and whacks it into the back of the net. 34 minutes in, MK Dons 1, Oxford 0.
Thanks very much, Emily. Here in Wrexham, 0-0 with Nottingham Forest in town. Wrexham in possession. Heim has it 15 yards inside his own half, rolls it back in field again to Dan Scarr. Dan Scarr, who turned 31 last month, gives it back to Heim, and now through the midfield, Dobson plays one down the channel for Smith to chase after, and he runs across in front of Morata, who does well, the big defender, who doesn't have the speed of Smith, but he had good awareness there, good positioning, and he dealt with what could have been a tricky situation. Forest still have possession. McAtee just outside his own penalty area. Full house tonight. Capacity of just over 12,000 while they await the construction. There's big drilling equipment very easily visible away to our left hand side, where they're going to build a big new stand and increase the capacity here. But 12,000 for the moment, every seat taken. Douglas Luiz 15 yards outside the penalty area. Everyone apart from Smith back behind the ball for Wrexham. This is Savona on the right hand side, the Italian defender. Gives it to McAtee. He will play it. Loads of back spin on that as he tried to float it into the penalty area, but Callum Doyle was able to jump and win the header, and now the chance to come over the halfway line. Ben Sheaf makes up good ground. Now he needs a little bit of support, and he couldn't pick an easy pass forward, so he retreats, and Dobson will play it on through Rathbone, and back now to Heim, and now to space on the right hand side and Longman. And you have to say they're comfortable in possession at the moment, Wrexham, Clinton.
They are, but they just lack pace going forward, Connor. You see there, Ben Sheaf does well. He's looking for runners. That's
better. Rathbone plays a little 1-2. Tries to come forward. Now he's got Broadhead available on the left-hand side. Broadhead out to the left wing to Karachi. Can he deliver? Here comes the cross. Too low. Needed more elevation on it. Douglas Luiz picks up on the edge of his own box, but Amari Hutchinson gets his pocket picked, and this is a chance. And it's shot into the bottom corner. It's Liberato Kakachi, who's never scored for Nottingham Forest before. He's a left back, and he's hit it with his right boot, and it goes in to the bottom corner. It beats Matt Sells, and Wrexham of the Championship lead Nottingham Forest by a goal to 0. And what a goal, Clinton!
Yeah, brilliant from you, Connor, as well, because we're a distance away, and it didn't look like Kakacha. It looked like it was a Broadhead finish, but you're spot on. It is Kakacha, the left wing back, and it is on his weaker right foot. He does ever so well. Hutchinson loses the ball. He's got to be stronger. They want a free kick, and he loses it. When Kakacha gets it, he drills it into the bottom corner. It's a fantastic finish. Hits that side netting. Great start for Wrexham.
This crazy competition, which every year produces mismatches and takes teams from higher divisions and puts them up against teams from lower divisions, and you expect that it should be a formality, and you expect the team with the big wages and the big signings should dominate, and yet here we go again. The Wrexham fairy tale continuing, and they lead Premier League Nottingham Forest, who are in the Europa League this season, remember. They are behind at the racecourse ground, and this is now the sort of FA Cup platform we've been waiting for, Clinton. Forest have got to show us how good they are now.
Yeah, definitely. Like Sean Dyche would have known everyone's here because they expect it to be an upset, and at the moment they've been nowhere near good enough. I've said it many a times. Hutchinson, you have to do better when you're in those kind of positions. Can't afford to lose the ball. And you know what Sean Dyche has done? He's got all these big hitters on the bench. He might have to go to his bench early, Connor.
He's not happy, Sean Dyche, as you can imagine. The assistants have been summoned, Vaughan and Stone, to Nottingham Forest legendary players for the past, have been brought into a little mini conference here, and Sean Dyche has got to figure out what they're going to do here. Remember, if you're just joining our coverage at 5 Live, Forest thought they had taken the lead earlier. A disallowed goal for Douglas Luiz. That was correctly not allowed to stand because of handball. But now, after steady improvement, after growing into the game, Wrexham beginning to create chances, one or two little breakaways, and then bang, the mistake by Omari Hutchinson is punished. And really, the most dangerous moments tonight for Wrexham have been when Forest have made mistakes. There was the Morato mistake, and that led to the Sam Smith chance, and then there was the Hutchinson mistake, and that led to the goal.
Now you're spot on, Connor. It's mistakes, and it's through Wrexham pressing ever so well, because Hutchinson thought he had enough time to turn. He wanted the free kick, referee turned, he was spot on, and yeah, it's through Wrexham's pressing. And listen to the noise in here now, Connor.
Another game without a clean sheet for Nottingham Forest, and you know, he crops it fairly tightly, but Sean Dyche will be pulling his hair out of this. Here they come again. Wrexham edge of the penalty area. Rathbone tries to edge his way through, and it comes back to Rathbone. Can he get the shot in? He can! It's two! Wrexham double their lead! It's a Hollywood fairy tale story that gets better and better and better. And 5 years after Ryan Reynolds' arrival, playing a Premier League opponent for the very first time under their Hollywood ownership, Wrexham aren't just in front, they're 2 goals to the good against Premier League Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, Forest are all over the place at the back. When you make that much changes, you're going to expect to do that. I understand Sean Dyche giving people opportunity, but let's talk about the goal from Rathbone. It's brilliant. They're going hunting patches. Forest still trying to play out from the back. Once he gets into that position, Rathbone, it's a brilliant finish past Sells into the bottom corner, and they deserve it, Wrexham, and Forest deserve everything they're getting at the moment. He has to make changes at half-time. Nowhere near good enough.
Now listen to the Wrexham fans roar. 2 goals in quick succession, and Nottingham Forest are in trouble now. It has been a steady, controlled performance. This hasn't been, you know, David with the slingshot and trying to lump it high and, you know, going old school and direct. Nothing that. They are playing good football, Wrexham. They're trusting their little 1-2s. They're keeping it on the deck. And they, at the moment, are outplaying Premier League Nottingham Forest. And it's reflected on the scoreboard. Wrexham 2, Nottingham Forest 0. Wow.
Yeah, they've been brilliant, though. They've not dominated possession, but what they've done is press Forest players who are not confident at the moment.
So MK Dons leading Oxford by a goal to 0. Wrexham 2-0 up here, 0-0 in the other games. There were just 3 minutes between the Kakachi goal and Rathbone's second. 2 goals in 3 minutes for Wrexham. What a blow to Nottingham Forest, who might have experience, might have pedigree, but they need a performance now. Premier League, you're having a laugh, is the chant from the Wrexham fans at the moment here on 5 Live. Let's go back to Vale Park. Adam Cottier.
Port Vale 0, Fleetwood 0, but Fleetwood have just lost forward Lewis McCann to a rather serious looking ankle injury. There was a lengthy stoppage and he was taken off on a stretcher to be replaced by Ched Evans. Port Vale 0, Fleetwood 0.
And Wrexham have got wind in their sails now. Ryan Longman attacks down the right hand side, sends in across, and Forest barely scuffing away as Wrexham remain in the attack, Clinton.
All over the place, Nottingham Forest. Morata tries to play a ball there, not good enough at the minute.
Here comes Sheep through the middle of the midfield, lays it off to Rathbone across towards the back post, this time anticipated by Matt Sells. Now the Belgian goalkeeper, who kept a lot of clean sheets in the Premier League last season, only David Raya had more. He comes out and he gathers that. Not much that Matt Sells could have done about either goal tonight. Firm finishes after defenders had allowed space for opponents. Nottingham Forest, doesn't matter if you're playing Championship, if you're playing League, non-league teams, if you're going to give people a chance to shoot on the edge of the penalty area in the FA Cup, there's always the chance you're going to find yourself 2-0 down.
100%, you're spot on there, Connor. To be nowhere near good enough. Sean Dyche is talking to his coaching team. He needs to get his subs out there warming up, because he needs to make changes at half time, because this is slipping away. And let me tell you, he's got an owner who want to go on a good cup run and do well in all these cup competitions for sure. Yeah,
you know, we talk a lot about the Wrexham owners, don't we? But the Nottingham Forest owners, they're well comfortable having their say and showing the dissatisfaction when things aren't going well. And going out of the cup with the first hurdle tonight will not go down well. This is backward for Nottingham Forest. He struggled to make much of an impact so far. Zinchenko, as he used to do in his Man City days, is slotting into a midfield position at the moment. Igor Jesus gives it back to Zinchenko. Apart from Smith, everyone's back defending for Wrexham at the moment. McAtee feels that pressure and he's got to retreat, and you can hear the warm applause around the stadium because the Wrexham fans know that their team forced Nottingham Forest to retreat there. McAtee on the halfway line, tries to take a step or two deeper into Wrexham territory, plays it left-footed to Douglas Luiz, controls the ball, gets it down and plays it to the right wing. Savona's made his way into the penalty area. First time tonight that he's gone into the box, but it's played by Douglas Luiz way too high, lashed over forcefully. Cheers from the Wrexham fans as that very harmlessly goes out for a goal kick. Wrexham 2, Nottingham Forest 0.
Yeah, even someone who I think's got a lot of ability, Douglas Luiz, even he's getting sucked into it because he's got so much time there and just overhits it. They just lack quality all over the pitch so far in this first half, Forest. But for how bad Forest have been, you've got to give huge credit to Wrexham. They've got a game plan. Credit Phil Parkinson, and it's working.
Nottingham Forest, who haven't won any of the last 7 FA Cup matches in which they have conceded the opening goal in. And here they've conceded 2. This is Zinchenko into Douglas Luiz, McAtee, close touch football on the halfway line. The early stages, Forest were getting in behind the defenders, but it's almost like Wrexham have figured out the wide players, Bakwa and Ndoye, and they're not getting as much joy at the moment. And Igor Jesus has been quite starved for service, the Brazilian centre-forward for Nottingham Forest. They have time in midfield, Forest, but they're not having time on the ball in attacking position. Zinchenko plays it forward towards Igor Jesus, lunging it on him, Callum Doyle. And again, Forest have got to retreat all the way back to the halfway line and all the way back to Zinchenko once again. Plays the ball up towards Igor Jesus. This time it's Dan Scarr who goes into the back of him, and he's kicked the back of his calf, and that's going to be a free kick. Free kick to Forest, 10-12 yards into Nottingham Forest territory. Wrexham still leading Forest by 2-0.
Yeah, and thoroughly deserved the 2-0 win. I don't think Forest have had a few half chances, but nowhere near good enough. Look at that.
Given away again, and a good ball is played by Rathbone, and Sam Smith, can he make it 3? It's saved by Matt Sells. Oh, he tried to open his body, he switched to play a left-footed shot, wanted to slip it down the side of the goalkeeper. One-on-one, Matt Sells has made a crucially important save there, because if that goes in, Clinton, it could be all over.
It could be. Let me tell you something, he shouldn't be able to make it. It is a poor finish from Sam Smith. He just kicked it straight at him, Connor. I didn't even try and open up the body. It is Zinchenko trying to play a quick free kick. It is absolutely poor, and he hasn't got the pace to get back. And it would have been tie over at 3-0 for sure.
And I mean, you talk of clear-cut chances from the striker's perspective. That's a step. He's running from the halfway line.
Yeah.
No defender was going to catch him. If anything, it's one of those. Does he have too much time? As the whistle goes for the break, Sam Smith thought about it too much, tried to be a bit too clever, I think.
Yeah, he did. You're right, Connor. Sometimes as a centre forward, you got too much time. He's running at speed though. He can relax and go ice cold, and he didn't even try and bend it around him. That looked like a player that hadn't been scoring goals, but he'd been in good form recently, so he'll be disappointed. He'll be reliving this. But Wrexham have been outstanding in his first half. Forest very, very poor. Such
a satisfied atmosphere around here. These Wrexham fans who continue almost disbelieving to enjoy what this team continues to produce for them. Promotion after promotion, big scalp after big scalp. They're not afraid of anyone. And if anything that sums up the mood here, it's not sort of, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. It's like, yeah, we're Wrexham. This is what we do now.
Exactly. We've got owners that want to compete, and we're ambitious, and we want to be in the Premier League. So and as you said, they haven't played a Premier League team. This is the first time. And listen, they're destroying Nottingham Forest. Yeah, it might not be Forest's best 11, but it's still Premier League team.
Sean Dyche is going to be tearing strips of paint off the walls of the dressing room here. Forest have got to improve in the second half. Wrexham dominating in those closing stages of the opening 45 minutes. The goals from Kikache and Rathbone. It is Wrexham 2, Nottingham Forest 0 at half-time.
So the upset is very much on. Connor, Clinton, thank you for the moment. We're going to head straight to Vale Park. Goal, Adam Cottier, which way?
We are playing 9 minutes of added time. Port Vale 1, Fleetwood 0. The side bottom of League One leading after a goal from Jordan Shipley, a left foot shot in the penalty area after a breakaway down the right led by Devante Cole. Fine finish, and Port Vale lead in John Brady's first match in charge, 1-0.
Half-time at Preston Wigan, Sani Rudravajula.
goalless. League One Latics with two huge opportunities to be ahead against fourth in the Championship North End. Callum Wright volleying just wide after just 40 seconds, and former Burnley man, what a moment it would have been. Dara Costello, ball over the top, onside, one-on-one into the area, drags his shot wide. 3,000 plus away fans are in fine voice. Lewis Dobbin with some chances for Preston North End, but at the break it's Preston 0, Wigan 0.
Let's head back to Stock Kairas. Wrexham 2 goals up against Nottingham Forest. Clinton Morrison, they're doing the job. They've been efficient all season under Phil Parkinson, and they're showing what they're about.
Yeah, they're showing what they're about. They're letting Forest have the ball, and then as soon as they get into certain areas, they're pressing and winning ever so well. And Sam Smith, even though he should score at the end for sure, but he's causing a lot of problems. Rathbone as well, and they look really good. Credit to Phil Parkinson, the way he set up his team, very good. But Forest, so poor, Aaron.
Lyle Taylor, former Nottingham Forest striker, alongside us this evening. Lyle, your former club have got a lot of work to do.
They've got a great deal of work to do. They started well enough, and in the disallowed goal, they spent a lot of time in and around Wrexham's penalty box, but they didn't make those those entries count, and they've been hit with a 1-2 and a quick 1-2 as well. So they're going to have to recuperate at half time, figure out how best to come out and cause Wrexham some bigger problems. But Wrexham have got something to hold on to now, so it's not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination.
Let's check in at Stadium MK. Half-time there for you, Emily Herbert.
And another upset could be on the cards. The high-flying League Two side MK Dons leading the struggling Championship team Oxford by 1-0. Aaron Collins twisting and turning inside the 6-yard box, and on the volley, rifled it in. You've got to say it's deserved. They've gone toe-to-toe in this first half. End-to-end game though, half-time. MK Dons 1, Oxford United 0.
So half-time in the first of our FA Cup third round ties this weekend here on 5 Live. In our May commentary game, it is Wrexham 2, Nottingham Forest 0. Second halves to come. That's after the latest BBC News here on 5 Live with Lisa McCormick.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Aaron. A cross-party group of MPs has written to Ofcom to ask what's been done about X's AI tool, Grok, which has been used to create sexual images. The social media platforms limited the picture editing feature to paid users, but the government's called that an insult to victims of sexual violence. Dame Caroline Downage is the chair of the Culture, Media and Sport Select Committee.
Well, we want to know for sure whether Ofcom actually do have sufficient powers within the Online Safety Act and other pieces of legislation to tackle this type of content creation by AI. But also we want to know to what extent the Ofcom are using their powers. They have been, I think, a bit slow to get up to speed and start using the powers they have under the Online Safety Act.
The UK, France and Germany have condemned the killing of protesters in Iran as fears grow of a major crackdown by security forces. A wave of anti-government unrest has continued into the 13th day. One New York Times journalist who's covered Iran for 30 years told 5 Live it feels like a watershed moment. A man's pleaded guilty to sending malicious social media messages to England defender Jess Carter during the Euros last year. 59-year-old Nigel DeWale from Great Harwood will be sentenced in March. President Trump is meeting the heads of major oil companies at the White House to discuss his plans to access Venezuela's huge crude reserves. The US took control of another tanker in the Caribbean earlier, the fifth vessel it seized in recent weeks. And Luke Littler's agreed a record sponsorship deal worth £20 million. The dart supplier Targets described the agreement as the biggest in the sport's history.
Hello, welcome to 5 Live Breakfast. Lots going on this morning.
Kick off your morning with the biggest stories and the headlines everyone's talking about.
We'll dig into what's happening and exactly what it means for you.
These systems are constantly being improved. No system is ever 100% perfect.
This is 5 Live Breakfast.
And we're on the ground at the world's biggest sporting events.
To go into that game and perform in the way that we did just feels like an absolute defeat.
Wake up with 5 Live Breakfast every morning from 6.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports with Aaron Paul.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Yeah, and this is 5 Live Sport taking you to the third round of the FA Cup. 4 games this evening. One of them a commentary here on 5 Live. You've got another one over on Sports Extra. That's involving Preston North End and Wigan Athletic. 2 of 18 games we've got for you across the weekend, beginning tonight and ending on Monday night at Anfield with Liverpool taking on Barnsley. The former Nottingham Forest striker Lyle Taylor alongside me this evening. Lyle, look, not going well for your former side. They've had 55% of the possession, but they need to test Arthur Okonkwo more.
They do. They've had 3 shots and 1 shot on target. So they have to be more decisive in and around the penalty area. They've had a goal chalked off for handball, which was rightly chalked off. So for the possession that they've had and the final third entries we've seen, they haven't created anything or enough. And they've had a couple of corners and some crosses, from some deep crosses lifted into the box. But they've not been of any real quality. The goalkeeper has been comfortable, should we say. So they'll have to look at doing a lot better than that to turn this round in the second half.
Take me through the 2 goals. The first one was a hard knock for Forest to take. But the second one, really good work from Rathbone, who's a fabulous player. Good technique to get into the box. A clean strike as well. And it felt like a gut blow to Forest.
I think when you get hit with a 1-2 like that, it really does knock you. So when the ball breaks in the box to Rathbone and he takes it inside the centre half, it's a really, really good touch. And then there's like a tangle of legs and the ball breaks to him. And at that point, it's you just see him almost take stock, take half a step, half a breath, and then he just passes it into that bottom corner. And it's such a good finish. It was a really, really, really good finish. And that's what happens in football. If you can make those really small moments count, which Wrexham have done, that you can find yourself from 0-0 to 2-0 up in the space of 3 minutes, and now they have got this game by the scruff of the neck.
I mentioned we've got 4 FA Cup ties on the network this evening. One of them is at Vale Park, John Brady's first game in charge as Port Vale boss. Adam, though, this game overshadowed by an injury to Fleetwood's Lewis McCann.
Yeah, it's Port Vale 1, Fleetwood 0 at half-time. We had 9 minutes of added time after an injury to McCann. He seemed to injure his ankle towards the end of the first half, at least his lower leg. He was taken off on a stretcher and applauded as he went off. On the day that Fleetwood sold their leading goal scorer to Salford, they lose another forward, but it looked rather serious. After that, Port Vale scored. Jordan Shipley with a fine left foot finish into the corner, and League One's bottom side lead League Two Fleetwood by 1-0.
Adam, thank you so much. Now, Macclesfield are the lowest ranked team left in the competition. They're hosting Holders Crystal Palace live on 5 Live at 12:30 tomorrow. Their manager, John Rooney, spoke earlier today to Conor McNamara.
Well, exciting times, John. I'm sure you're a very busy man this weekend, so thanks for taking the time to join us in 5 Live. Look, it's not just that Macclesfield have got a Premier League team in the third round. It's not just that you've drawn them at home. You've got the current FA Cup holders in Crystal Palace, and I guess if you're going to go for a scalp, it might as well be a huge one.
Yeah, when we got the draw through, it didn't quite click right away with me that they was the current holder. It took a couple of minutes for that to set in, but we're all looking forward to tomorrow, but it's going to be a massive task for us. But as we spoke about the FA Cup, it shows mad results at times, so fingers crossed that it can be ours tomorrow when we upset them.
Yeah, every year people wonder, is the FA Cup losing its allure? Does it still have the old magic? And yet every year there are giant killings. I mean, this would be a huge giant killing. What is it, 116 league places between them? But, I mean, you've been with the players all season. How do you think they're reacting to this extra exposure this week? I saw pictures of them getting new outfits, look like everyone's having a great laugh. Is it a big distraction? Is it a distraction in a good way that can get a good performance out of them?
Well, if you look at the performance we went and put in on Tuesday night, it was probably one of our best performances of the season. So, listen, I know it could go the other way where lads don't want to get injured and they're holding back a bit, but I think they've really enjoyed the exposure and, they all look confident. And listen, my message to them is that there's nothing for us to lose. Go and enjoy the day. Not many of them have really played in the first round of the FA Cup, never mind the third round against the Premier League side. So, it's a great experience for them as well. But one we're all looking forward to, and they all look really confident. They know it's going to be a tough task, which we all do. I think the whole world and all that. But what an experience for them live on TV in front of millions of people to go and show what the lower league football in this country is all about.
And how have the preparations been going? I know you've got the AstroTurf pitch, which helps in this sort of weather, but how much snow has there been in the area in recent days?
On Monday, there was quite a bit, but then again, that's why we spoke the other day on one of the interviews about speaking about the fans and what this football club's all about. You know, on Tuesday morning, the pitch was covered with snow, and we had a game on Tuesday night. And the amount of people that come down to clear the pitch, they can make sure that game was on. You know, it's a real community club and a family club, and to see that and to see them on the pitch getting the snow off and to get that game on was nothing but fantastic. And you know, we've looked after the pitch this week. We've got covers on it just in case any snow does come. But you know, we're prepared the best we possibly can to get this game on, and I think the game will be no doubt on.
Palace's recent form isn't great by their standards. They haven't won in 8 matches, but we know the quality. I believe Jean-Philippe Mateta's not going to play, so that's probably some good news for you, but they've got so many good players, don't they?
Yeah, listen, they're a top side, and hence why they won the FA Cup last year. And, you know, they've got players worth excess of £50 million on their books, and, you know, they've got one of the top managers in the Premier League at the moment. And, listen, they're a top side with top quality players. And, listen, it's going to be a really tough task for us, and we know that, we understand that, and it's about me. Listen, it's a tough one for me, testing myself in my first year in management, and well, first couple of months even, but I've really enjoyed this week with the exposure around the club and, you know, the amount of press and stuff like that we've had around. It's been a great experience for me, but also the players as well.
Do you feel a pressure going into a game like this, or is it one of those where you've nothing to lose? People don't expect you to even trouble a Premier League side of the calibre of Crystal Palace. I mean, you could win an awful lot of friends tomorrow by just chipping away at them. Yeah,
of course. It's one of them. No one expects us really to get anything out the game or get near them. We've got to set up to try and frustrate them and can we get them on the counter? You know, we've got to figure out how the game's going to go. Listen, we know everyone's thinking that Crystal Palace will come and run all over us, but it's the FA Cup, and as we touched back on that, anything can happen on the day in cup competitions, and it's one we're all thriving and looking forward to.
Yeah, I can imagine one early chance tomorrow. You know, it's about taking moments. You know you won't get a lot of opportunities against a Premier League defence, but if you do get an early chance, if you could take it, that could make all the difference.
Yeah, of course. Listen, we're on our own pitch and we're used to the 3G, and listen, any advantage we can get in this game, we'll take. And listen, they won't be used to playing on this type of service, and you know, early kick-off on a cold Saturday morning on a 3G pitch. Listen, any advantage we can get, we'll take it. And you need a little bit of luck as well. And as you touched on, if we get an early chance, no matter how it goes in or anything like that, it's something we'll take. And if we could get an early goal, then you never know. But listen, we'll be trying to stay in the game as long as we can. It gives us that little bit of hope.
The Macclesfield manager John Rooney, their commentary of their tie against the holders. Crystal Palace is on 5 Live tomorrow from midday. Lyle Taylor, I mean, you really do have to make every tiny advantage count. And Moss Rose, they're hoping, is going to be of a big advantage for Macclesfield tomorrow.
The pitch will play a massive part in that game tomorrow, as will the inclement weather. And I think the FA Cup has always been about who turns up on the day. And let's be honest, if the conditions aren't favourable and the pitch is horrible, Crystal Palace will still be very, very difficult to beat because they're a Premier League team and they're a very good Premier League team. But there is room for error in there. So let's see what the tie brings.
Absolutely. That one from midday tomorrow on 5 Live. Right now, though, our attention returns to Stoke Kairas, and there are changes afoot for Nottingham Forest, who go back into the second half, 2 goals down to Wrexham. Clinton Morrison and Conor McNamara.
Yeah, thanks very much, Aaron. Teams back out for the second half, and it's no surprise that Sean Dyche makes changes. Did we expect him to make 3 changes, though, at half-time? Well, that's the question. Nico Williams is coming on to play left-back. That's instead of Alexander Zinchenko. Nicholas Dominguez will come into the midfield. James McAtee has been hooked. And Backward taken off as well with Morgan Gibbs-White. brought into the team. So 3 of the regulars, 3 of the big guns, Clinton. Sean Dyche wants an improvement with his team 2 goals down.
Yeah, he does, to be fair. And I said it was an opportunity for McAtee. He didn't really take it. So, yeah, he's made these changes. I'm surprised Hudson-Odoi won't come on, but he'll probably come on in 15, 20 minutes.
Immediately, Gibbs-White wins a free kick and takes it quickly. Gives it to Savona on the right-hand side. Low ball into the penalty area. Bounced up onto the arm of Igor Jesus. You could hear thousands of voices screaming handball, and the referee, Paul Tierney, agrees with that. Now, that's a free kick to Wrexham on the edge of their own penalty area. If you're just joining our coverage here on 5 Live, 2 goals in very quick succession. Kikachi and Rathbone within 3 minutes of each other in the latter stages of the first half have given Wrexham such a strong platform here. Wrexham leading Nottingham Forest by 2 goals to 0. Okonkwo takes the clearance, the goalkeeper high up over the halfway line, met by Jer Cunha. And now Amari Hutchinson tries to peel away. This is Ndoye down the right-hand side. He's been pursued hotly by Callum Doyle, but Ndoye is fast, and Doyle slides it. What a slide tackle that is! Ndoye was just trying to sprint past him, and Callum Doyle, pincer movement, both legs in at the same time. I mean, so easy to give away a free kick and pick up a yellow card if you mistime that, but that is perfectly hard and fair from Callum Doyle, and that's exactly the sort of challenge that Phil Parkinson will want to see at the start of this second half from his team.
Yeah, and he's a top quality defender. He played at Man City before, Doyle, and yeah, he's a really good player, and he's been good since he's gone to Wrexham, and it's good defending because Ndoye can shift as well.
So Nottingham Forest, who won on Tuesday at West Ham to move 7 points clear of the relegation zone, but they have lost 3 of the last 4 away games, and they're 2-0 down here. And let's see what Gibbs-White and Dominguez and Nico Williams are going to be able to do here. All established international players. Jer Cunha has it at the moment inside the centre circle. Navy blue boots for him tonight. Gives it to the Italian Savona on the right-hand side. Nottingham Forest are playing from left to right as we look down in the second half. Their change kit, white shirts, white socks, dark shorts, as Morgan Gibbs-White spins a double pirouette there. Went around the full 360 degrees twice, but he held on to possession, and then he gives a pass to Douglas Luiz, who tried a no-look pass towards the edge of the penalty area for Savona. That was a little bit fancier than it needed to be there, and he doesn't pick out the target, and Wrexham regained possession, and Broadhead is strong here as he comes over the halfway line. It's a really good surge for Broadhead. Helps it infield to Ollie Rathbone. 3rd goal for Wrexham, and Forest could be out of this. Cross shot comes in. It was successfully neither, really. A hybrid attempt from Ryan Longman. Sails both high and wide, and that's a goal kick to Nottingham Forest, who still trail by 2 goals to 0.
Yeah, it was neither here nor there from Longman, but you're right. What Wrexham will do now, Connor, is basically they will defend in their numbers, play on the counter-attack, and Forest have to find a way of breaking them down. But yeah, that's what they'll do the whole half, and been a good start from Wrexham again.
MK Dons still in front against Oxford, Port Vale in front against Fleetwood, 0-0 between Preston and Wigan, and here it's Wrexham 2, Nottingham Forest 0, much to the delight of the home fans. It's been a long time since they've taken on top tier opposition, and Wrexham supporters will be overjoyed at how well their team has coped with what Nottingham Forest have to throw at them so far. Attacking down the left come Forest. But the best Amari Hutchinson can do is prevent it going for a goal kick by flicking it out for a throw. So a throw into Forest in a right full-back position for them. And coming across to take it, Dominic Heim, who has played against Forest 5 times in his career now. He's lost 3 out of 4 before today, the former Blackburn Rovers man. Reached the FA Cup quarter-finals with Blackburn a few years back. How he would love a win against Forest here. How all of Wrexham would love it, and they're certainly going about it the right way so far. Savona has possession, rolls it back into his own centre circle, back to Jer Cunha, and then it's played by Morata over to the far side to Nico Williams, who will be a popular figure around here. This is his parish. He was born in a village just up the road from here, Nico Williams, in the Wrexham area, but he's very much on the opposition tonight, wearing the colours of Nottingham Forest. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Forest, who had a goal disallowed when this game was still at 0-0. Douglas Luiz's goal didn't stand because of a handball. Here comes Forest on the attack, but a missed touch by Ndoye, and it all breaks down, and immediately Wrexham tried to release it on a counter-attack. Sheaf tried to play the ball forward quickly up towards Sam Smith, but can't pick out the target. But all the time, and this is going to be the pattern now, Clinton, Forest have to go for it, have to attack, and all the time Wrexham are looking for those breakaway opportunities to try and catch them on the counter.
Yeah, you're spot on, Connor, and you're right, because at the end of the day, they're going to have to come out. They're going to have to go for it. He's made a triple substitution. It hasn't really had any impact. I know in the second half, it's been about 5 minutes only hold at the moment. But Wrexham, they look solid. They've looked solid the whole game. And it's now for Forest to do all the chasing. And Wrexham can just sit in there and counter-attack. And they have players off the bench that can come on and make an impact as well.
Forest, who haven't had a proper shot in the game since Douglas Luiz in the 25th minute. So it is a goal kick for Okonkwo, wearing green, out to the right-hand side. Okuku played it behind a back three of Scar, Heim and Doyle. Longman and Kakachi, who's on the goal scorer list, are the two wing backs. Dobson and Sheaf have worked really hard in the midfield. Ollie Rathbone's been brilliant, Broadhead as well, and Sam Smith, who had an opportunity to make it 3 before half-time, put it across the face of goal and wide. At the moment, this is how Forest are lining up. Sells is the goalkeeper. Back for Savona, Cunha, Morato and Williams. In midfield, Nicolas Dominguez, the Argentinian international, alongside Douglas Luiz, the Brazilian international. And then it's an attacking three. Ndoye on the right, Gibbs White in the middle. Omari Hutchinson's operating off the left wing as things stand, with Igor Jesus up top, and he's seen very little of the ball in this FA Cup third round tie so far. The FA Cup on the BBC tonight from North Wales. Savona along the halfway line to Douglas Luiz. Veers away from an attempted lunge by Sam Smith. Plays a short ball to Nicolas Dominguez. Dominguez back to Morato. He tries to play it forward towards the edge of the Wrexham penalty area. Hutchinson beats a taller defender in the air, but he can't pick out a teammate, and Wrexham should get it away here. Broadhead, though, is a little bit careless, and he's given it away to Dominguez, and now possession is back with Nottingham Forest once again. But Douglas Luiz has passed to Hutchinson, who allowed it through his legs. He thought it was going to carry through to Nico Williams. It didn't. It gave possession back to Wrexham, and it's another unforced error from Nottingham Forest, and the Wrexham fans enjoy it whenever that happens.
Yeah, he's still lucky to probably be on the pitch, Hutchinson. He's been nowhere near good enough so far, but he is better on that wide-hand side. But yeah, that's poor from him.
Well, Rob McAnally and Ryan Reynolds, their takeover of Wrexham was February 2021, so almost 5 years ago. What ground they have covered in that time, and you know, tonight up against a Premier League opponent. If you had said it 5 years ago that this would be where they would be by now, I wonder how many would have believed you. Savona's cross in from the right hand side. Morgan Gibbs White heads it down, sits up just for a moment for Dominguez, but he couldn't get the clean shot away. Too many defenders, but that was an opportunity. Forest hold on to possession. They have it with Savona on the right hand side. He gives it into Gibbs White, who's just given Forest a bit more presence in the midfield since coming on as a substitute at half time. He's on it again here into the box. Gibbs White been veered out to a position wide on the left hand side. Here comes the cross from Hutchinson, but a really firm header out by Scar, and now the chance of a counter attack once again. Sheaf is taken down by Douglas Luiz. Free kick to Wrexham. Douglas Luiz knew there was danger there and knew that he had to shut that down.
Yeah, to be fair, it's brilliant hold-up play. When your team's under pressure, can Sam Smith win possession for you? Yes, he can. He holds it up, sets it off, and yeah, Douglas Luiz fouls Ben Sheaf, and that's what it's going to be like. Attack against defence in the second half, Connor.
Forest to reach the FA Cup semi-finals last season. First time they'd got that far since the early 90s. Are they going to leave the FA Cup at the first hurdle tonight? Are they going to fall on the third round? Because at the moment it remains Wrexham 2, Nottingham Forest 0 here on 5 Live. And from 12 o'clock tomorrow, Steve Crossman will be building up to the first of 4 FA Cup third round games on 5 Live. Will be at Macclesfield against Crystal Palace. In the entire history of the FA Cup, a team from the 6th tier has never beaten a team in the top tier, so they'll be looking to make a little bit of history there. We'll bring you Fulham against Middlesbrough at 3 o'clock, and right now we go to Stadium MK because, Emily Herbert,
for Oxford, MK Dons 1, Oxford 1. Will Lancashire inside the 6-yard box on a plate for him, and on the volley slots it home. He could not miss from there, finding their flow now. Oxford, MK Dons 1, Oxford 1.
Port Vale still leading at home against Fleetwood. Preston still scoreless against Wigan. Wrexham still 2 goals to the good here against Premier League Nottingham Forest, but it's Forest on the attack. Down the right hand side, ball played in by Ndoye, not accurate enough to pick out a teammate. Attempted twist and turn by Igor Jesus, then down goes Morgan Gibbs White, and he gets a free kick just outside the tee of the penalty area. This is a dangerous location now. It's a shooting position for a Nottingham Forest free kick.
he's made a big difference. He comes on, Connor, and brings the quality that they need. He's the one who played the great ball out to Ndoye. The wide men have to do better, Ndoye and Hutchinson, because I do feel sorry for Igor Jesus. He is isolated and he's feeding on scraps at the moment, but Gibbs White's made a big difference.
Right, this is as threatening a moment as Forest have faced in the second half, certainly. Probably in the last half an hour of game time. Free kick just outside the D. It's a good distance. There's space here to get it up over the wall and back down again. It's a central location too, so the goalkeeper Otto Okonkwo has got to decide here. Does he erect the wall to cover one side? Does he himself stay in the middle? At the moment it looks like he's lining up to guard the post that would be to his left hand side, and then he moves across to cover on the right. He's a giant of a goalkeeper, really tall, Okonkwo. But now, what's he going to do here? Douglas Luiz is standing over the free kick. Arms down by his side. Here he comes, the Brazilian, and it's saved. It was heading just under the crossbar. Okonkwo gets across and tips it over for a corner. Wrexham still lead Forest by 2-0.
Yeah, good save from Okonkwo. It's brilliant from Douglas Luiz, because you can see he's got that ability, and I don't think it's fully in the corner though, Connor, but it's still a very good save.
He had to get across. It was on target. And from that distance, always a threat, but Okonkwo puts it out for the corner, and Forest have no time to waste. So here it comes, played in, left-footed. Good, dangerous delivery, but it skims over the top of the wall in the middle, and it goes out for a goal kick. And you can hear the cheer of relief from Wrexham fans. They have survived that particular scare.
Yeah, they have, to be fair, but the pressure is mounting now, and at least Forest are actually working Okonkwo, because they weren't doing that enough in the first half. Douglas Luiz had the same free kick, and it was the one save he had to make in that first half.
2-0 to Wrexham as they play it down the left wing, and Smith goes in pursuit of it, but he was offside as the pass was played, so that will be a free kick to Nottingham Forest near the halfway line. Back to Port Vale against Fleetwood. Adam Cottier.
Port Vale 1, Fleetwood 0, but Fleetwood have just had their best opening. Ethan Ennis on loan from Manchester United, weaving his way into the penalty area. He shot into the side netting. Lewis McCann, their forward, who was injured in the first half, was taken to hospital before half-time. 1-0 Port Vale.
And this is a chance for Forest, played in by Savona, spilled by the goalkeeper, but following up Ndoye, couldn't get it in, and the flag was up anyway. And I don't know if that's indicating a goal kick or indicating that they were offside, but either way it is possession back for Wrexham. But more pressure, Clinton, from Nottingham Forest, and Gibbs White is making a big difference now.
You know why? He just gets into little pockets where the centre-back or the midfielders don't know to pick him up, and they are causing problems at the moment.
Let's go to Deepdale. Preston North End against Wigan Athletic tonight. It was also a 7:30 kickoff. Sani Rujavajula.
58 minutes gone. It's Preston 0, Wigan 0. But Latics, who've brought over 3,200 fans here, they're making a hell of a racket. They've had some chances. Preston, though, settling into this now. Championship against League One. It's Preston 0, Wigan 0.
You can listen to commentary of that game right now on BBC Radio Manchester. And we believe that's also available on 5 Sports Extra right now. This is Broadhead, left wing for Wrexham, gives it back to the edge of the penalty area into a more central location, and so smooth from Dobson to veer away from Dominguez there. And now Broadhead goes around Douglas Luiz. This is great stuff from Wrexham. Into the centre again. Rathbone on the edge of the penalty area. Broadhead involved. Can he finish? Saved by Matt Sells. What a goal that would have been. That was like prime Barcelona from inside their own half to the edge of the 6-yard box. Wrexham showing us what they can do, and Broadhead shot on target, saved out for the corner by Matt Sells.
Yeah, it's brilliant football. He leaves Douglas Luiz and Savona there on his feet, Broadhead, and it's brilliant play. You're thinking, Rathbone, is he going to have a shot? No, he plays it back to was it Broadhead? And Broadhead does ever so well. He chops inside Cunha and has the shot, but it's a good save from Sells. Had a memory blank there, but yeah, really good save.
It's all
brilliant
happening
play
here. 2-0 to Wrexham. Here's the FA Cup third round going to start with a shock. Our Championship Wrexham about to knock out Nottingham Forest to the Premier League. Corner's taken short. Rathbone, too much power. More power than accuracy, and it veers from outside the penalty area, well wide of the target. From the moment it left his boot, it was skidding away, and that is a goal kick to Nottingham Forest away to our left-hand side. And having seen Nottingham Forest make 3 changes at half-time and getting a little bit more joy out of it, Phil Parkinson's about to make his first change, and the goal scorer of the opener tonight, Liberato Kakache, his first ever goal on what is his first taste of the FA Cup. A day he'll never forget, the Kiwi. But off he goes for the first change of the game.
Yeah, he's had a good game, you know, Connor. It's a fantastic finish as well. Really good finish. Thomason coming on, but he'd be probably disappointed he's getting taken off early. But Forest are causing a lot of problems down this right-hand side, so I think they put on someone more defensively.
George Thomason, who started the last 5 games in a row before tonight. It's been his best run of matches since joining Wrexham. He's never scored for the club. He comes on into the midfield here. And let's see if tactically that's going to force any alterations too. For the moment, looks like he's going to play in that left wing-back position, exactly where Kakachi was. But Wrexham, you can visibly see the confidence. And, you know, albeit, just as I say that, there is an error, curse to the commentator there, throw to Dobson, who doesn't control it well, ball goes out of play. But they're not panicking, they are trusting the process. You know, you've got to credit Phil Parkinson. He's prepared this team. And let's face it, for all the Hollywood razzmatazz, this isn't a team of stars, Clinton. They're not household names. He's got them drilled so well. Yeah, they're playing ever so well. Like, listen, they bought in players and spent a lot of money on the likes of Broadhead, bought in Windass, Kiefer Moore, but they're not playing at the moment. It's only Broadhead that's playing, but everyone knows their roles, Connor. You're spot on. And that is Phil Parkinson as a manager. His teams are always hard to play. It might not be the attractive football, but they get results. You can follow every game on your local BBC radio station over FA Cup third round weekend. You can listen on BBC Sounds. You can watch with the live updates on the BBC Sport app as well. And details of all of it on the BBC Sport website. As here's a chance for Igor Jesus, but no way past Callum Doyle, who's had a very good game, one of the 3 central defenders for Wrexham tonight. Forest have possession, wide on the left-hand side. Omari Hutchinson gives it back to Dominguez, back out to the left wing again. Wrexham have got everyone back behind the ball defending this. High ball comes in, but too high, it sails over everyone, and more disappointment for Nottingham Forest as that goes out for a goal kick. Still Wrexham lead by 2-0 on 5 Live. I don't know what Savona's doing. It's a good ball from Nico Williams. He's just watching the game like he's not getting, he thinks his team's winning 2-0. So frustrating when you can see it here and he can't see it. Even his rest of his teammates are throwing their hands in the air. Our coverage of the FA Cup tomorrow starts with Macclesfield against Crystal Palace at 12:15. Then we'll bring you Fulham against Middlesbrough at 3. After Sports Report, another 2 commentaries. Spurs take on Aston Villa, an all Premier League tie. That is at 5:45. And then later on this evening at 8 o'clock, Chelsea will be away at Charlton, an all London game at the Valley. And the pace doesn't slow down on Sunday. Mark Chapman presenting. We'll have an earlier on-air time of 11:30 on Sunday for 5 Live Sport. Derby against Leeds is a noon kickoff. We'll bring you Portsmouth against Arsenal at 2 o'clock as well. And a reminder that tomorrow night, Saturday night on BBC One 1040, BBC Match of the Day, FA Cup highlights, all of tonight's action, plus whatever happens tomorrow too. Here in North Wales, Wrexham still leading Forest by 2-0. Forest in possession with Ndoye on the right-hand side. Plays it for Savona to the byline. Hangs it across. Igor Jesus is up and it's headed off the goal line. I think it hit the post. Came across the goal line. But did it go over the line? It did. It's a goal back for Forest. Jesus, brilliant height. How he leapt there. It came off the post. The defender tried to clear it, but the ball had already crossed the line. And Forest have got one back. Wrexham 2, Nottingham Forest 1. 63 minutes played, and very much game on now, Clinton. Yeah, it is, and that's why I was screaming at Savona to get forward and go around Ndoye. He does well. It's a great ball into the box, and it's a free header from Igor Jesus. It's pulled it, and it does go over the line because you can see the ref. Paul Tierney points, so he must have seen on his Casio watch. It went over the line, Connor. I don't. Do they have the Casio watch tonight? Other makers of watch are available. There is other makers of watch, but I didn't know if that was the one. No VAR. Do they have the goal line technology? I'm not sure if they do actually. So how does he give that decision then? Because it got to be the linesman. It's got to be the assistant. Yeah, exactly. It's all old-fashioned tonight. I love it. I love it, Connor. And probably that's why it was so quick, because there was nothing to review, nothing to wait and see. How good is that? Yeah, it might catch on. Exactly. So that's Hush Street crowd here, 10,603 the official attendance, 1,200 of them supporting Nottingham Forest as away fans. And Forest, who've been, under the cosh, have made good changes in half-time, bringing on good players. They've got one back, but it's Wrexham who still lead. And here Through the middle comes Sam Smith for the home side. That's a good ball infield to Broadhead. Helps it on to Sheaf just outside the penalty area. Back to Broadhead. Took too long. They didn't have time for that last pass. Wrexham and Forrester able to clear it away, but not very far. And now George Thomason on the left-hand side to Broadhead again. He was trying to play across that field pass, but that was cut out by Douglas Luiz. The game is stretching now. This is proper cup football as Nicol Dominguez brings it up to the halfway line, and he is challenged, and it would have been a free kick, but the referee says play on because Forest still have possession, and Douglas Luiz launches one over the top, and Dan Indoy is chasing after it, and he gets there too with the penalty, and he shoots at the tight angle, and it's saved by Okonkwo at the front post, and Forest have suddenly woken up in this cup tie as Sam Smith goes down. He's been fouled by Morato, and that's going to be a free kick to Wrexham near the halfway line, and the whole game is just up to tempo now. Wrexham 2, Nottingham Forest 1 in the FA Cup.
Yeah, it's an exciting cup tie. It's end to end at the moment. Wrexham don't want it to be like that, Connor, though. That suits Nottingham Forest. If they're counter-attacking their pace, they got good ball over the top from Douglas Luiz, and it's a good save from Okonkwo. Really good save, and he's unlucky with the goal as well, to be fair. Really unlucky with the goal because he does try to save it, but Dan Indoy, yeah, good shot, good save.
And I'm just wondering, in terms of the pattern of play, now, of course you always want a 2-goal lead, don't get me wrong, but at 2 goals up, were Wrexham playing within themselves a little bit, containing, holding on to it? Whereas now that it's 2-1, they've actually got to come and attack again. And tonight, they've looked their best when they've come and attacked.
Yeah, you're right. I do think they sat back and kind of soak up pressure, and now they've got to come out, and then that's when the spaces will appear.
What a fancy little flick that was from Morgan Gibbs-White. I didn't see that one before. I don't even know how to describe that. It was a little Ronaldinho trick, I think, from Morgan Gibbs-White on the edge of the penalty area there, and it held on to possession, and it's laid off by Igor Jesus to Dominguez, and suddenly we're beginning to see the Premier League quality of Nottingham Forest as they string the passes together. They have it in a crossing position. Gibbs-White outside of the right boot, plays it. That was too fancy. Didn't need to strike it as dramatically as that with the outside of the boot. Just needed a proper delivery, and Gibbs-White has given it straight to the goalkeeper Okonkwo, and Wrexham still lead Forest by 2-1.
Yeah, I think he was trying to play with the outside of his boot into the box, and he wanted runners across him. They need more bodies in the box, though. It's only Igor Jesus that's in the box.
Well, in terms of possession, it's all Forest in the second half. Here's Gibbs-White. He's been the main difference, playing a pass to the left wing. Igor Jesus crosses one in from a tight angle, but Okonkwo safe hands once again. And he gathers the ball and he comes to the edge of the area and he looks for a quick outlet, but he can't see anyone to throw it to, and then that's a bit of a waste. He's just kicked it straight down the middle of the field, and he's returned possession to Ger Cunha. Wrexham need cool heads now. Their lead has been halved, but they are still in front.
And that's why it looks like Lewis O'Brien and Windass are coming on, because they are 2 players that are cool heads. They just look like they're tired at the moment, Connor. Put a great shift in at the moment for 67 minutes.
2-1, Wrexham lead. Douglas Luiz seeing more possession now as well. He gives it to the left-hand side to Nico Williams, who's made a difference since coming on. Nico Williams gets on the end of a 1-2, lays it off to Gibbs-White. Good challenge on the edge of the area. Ben Sheaf trying to win the ball back, and then it's fired in by Nicola Dominguez, but off target, and that goes wide of the goal, and a goal kick for Wrexham once again. And this little break in play is going to afford the pause that Wrexham need to make a change here. Forest are going to make a change as well. So 2 players are coming on for Wrexham, and 1 are coming on for Nottingham Forest. Dan Indoy is the player who will depart for the visitors. Indoy, the Swiss winger, he's won Premier League goal for Forest. Came on his debut all the way back in August against Brentford. Cup Italia winner with Bologna last season, but he now departs in the English FA Cup. And 2 changes here coming on with James McLean, the club captain, the Republic of Ireland international, is coming on. Rathbone is leaving. And what's the other change, Clinton?
Oh, you see, Broadhead came off, and O'Brien's on, and Windass is on.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah. So, multiple changes here as both managers trying to counteract the developments of the other. Sean Dyche's 3 swaps at half-time certainly have made an impact, and now Phil Parkinson hoping that he can have an impact as well on things. There's an interception made by Callum Doyle. Gives it back to Dominic Heim, rifles the ball straight down the centre of the field. Ger Cunha will head that one back to Matt Sells. Forest look much more comfortable now with the players they have on the pitch rather than the team that started tonight. Remember, Sean Dyche made 8 changes from the last league game. They'll win at West Ham on Tuesday. 5 Live on BBC Sounds. Championship Wrexham still leading. And remember, if the scores were to be level at 90 minutes, it will be extra time if required It would be a penalty shootout, no more replays. It's all going to get decided tonight. Here comes Savona over the halfway line. Douglas Luiz, real quality there. He drew in Ben Sheaf, but knew he'd be able to accelerate away from him once the lunge was made. As coming down the left-hand side here for Nottingham Forest, Callum Hudson-Odoi. Quality has been introduced, drip feed, and Forest are getting stronger and stronger. Here comes Savona to the byline, down the right-hand side, sends it a low cross, and there to clear it away is Lewis O'Brien.
He's put a shift in, Sam Smith. He has put a shift in. It's hard up, tirelessly working up front by yourself, and in the second half, he's got to do a lot of that now for the last 20 minutes because there's no key for more, so I don't think there's anyone else who can come off the bench and do what he's done.
So, a little bit of a nervous hush just spreading around the stadium. Rathbone and Broadhead, two players who went off, and they did work very hard, but they were two of the more exciting players for Wrexham. And they've now got to hope that those who've come on are going to be able to have that little X factor as well. Josh Windass, whose birthday it is today, he turns 32. He's taken over the position where Ollie Rathbone was in, just behind the main striker, slightly to the right-hand side. Giacugna for Nottingham Forest. Forest wearing white, playing from left to right as we look down. Morgan Gibbs-White gives it to Omari Hutchinson, who's moved back over to the right wing since the introduction of Hudson-Odoi on the left. Nico Williams got a lot of space over that left wing at the moment, but Douglas Luiz doesn't see him. He's bogged down in heavy traffic in a central location. Alongside him is Morgan Gibbs-White. This is 10 yards outside the penalty area that Nottingham Forest are attacking. Forest, who've already come back from 2-0 down to sit 2-1 at the moment. Can the Premier League team force an equaliser here away at Championship club Wrexham? It's a slow, considered build-up by Forest here. Gibbs-White tries a dummy and it doesn't work. It's been stolen away. And Dobson is going to come over the halfway line. 2-on-2. Can he pick the right pass here? Tries to find Sam Smith. And you can hear from the ooze of the crowd that it just squirts in front of Smith and through to Matt Sells, the goalkeeper. But that's the sort of counter-attack that Wrexham will hope might produce their third goal here this evening, Clinton.
Yeah, that's what they want to do. They're defending ever so well. It was good defensive play and they're trying to play on the counter-attack. He just overhit it, Dobson.
So this is Savona again, seeing a lot of possession on the right-hand side. The Italian gives it to Omari Hutchinson. Did really well a couple of seasons ago when Ipswich were promoted up to the Premier League. Had a few injury problems last season when they were up in the top flight. Savona again. Forest have got everyone apart from Smith back behind the ball here. Hutchinson with the orange boots plays a low ball across the midfield. Helped on again by Nico Williams, but this is all still very much central third. Can they get it into a shooting position here, Forest? Gibbs-White tries to turn under pressure from two defenders and he's tackled fairly. And Forest come away with possession. And this is Windass, and he rolls it to the right wing. Forest don't look as comfortable when they're turned and when they've got to scamper back again. Ryan Longman plays a nice ball to the right wing. That's been kept in play over there by Sam Smith. Level with the edge of the penalty area that Wrexham attack. Back into the midfield now where George Dobson has made himself available. Back out to the right-hand side to Windass. This needs to be a good cross. It's blocked by the first defender. Nico Williams stands firm. And then Callum Hudson-Odoi pushes, gives away a free kick. Free kick to Wrexham. Crossing position on the right-hand side. Wrexham still leading Nottingham Forest on 5 Live by 2-1 in the FA Cup.
Yeah, they don't mind that. They'll try and get the free kicks and buy the free kicks. Before that, Windass was putting a cross in. There was not one single player, Wrexham player, in the box. So to get free kicks and buy little free kicks, good play from Windass.
Lewis O'Brien, who's come on as a former Nottingham Forest player, of course, he's playing against his old team. Joined Wrexham from Forest for £5 million in the summer. And he is amongst the group of players on the edge of the penalty area here, awaiting the Wrexham free kick. Played in by Dobson. Dangerous delivery. It's headed in for the third. It's Dominic Heim. It's his first ever goal for Wrexham. What a brilliantly worked free kick. This has been a problem for Forest all season. They simply cannot defend set pieces, and not at the quality of that. Dobson swung it in, a diving header for Dominic Heim. It's the second FA Cup goal of his career, and Wrexham have re-established their 2-goal lead, and the old racecourse ground is rocking again.
Yeah, it's a brilliant header. It's a fantastic ball in from Dobson. Unbelievable ball. And you can't defend that, and the header's brilliant from Hyam. What a header. But it's a problem, even if Milenkovic and Murillo are playing. Forest cannot defend set pieces this season. It's been their Achilles heel. But what a ball in, and a fantastic header from Hyam. and that could be game over, Connor.
In the Premier League this season, Forest have conceded 13 goals from set pieces. Tonight in the FA Cup against Championship Wrexham, they concede from a free kick. And it's a great finish, diving header, all the rest of it. There wasn't a defender anywhere near him, Clinton.
No, nowhere near. Not good enough. I've said that all evening. You're going to make a lot of changes, Sean Dyche. You've got to make sure your centre-backs can deal with crosses like that, and they haven't done it all evening. But it's a brilliant ball in, and it's a fantastic header. So
the big story brews again in North Wales. 2-goal advantage once more for Wrexham. They lead 3-1. News reaching us of a goal at deep down. We'll go there just a moment. Here's a chance for Nottingham Forest, and a good goal from Callum Hudson-Odoi. What a cup tie this is turning out to be. Right on the edge of the penalty area, right-footed. He kept it low, tucked it into the corner. It's 3-2. It's a 5-goal thriller now, Clinton.
This is where we like the FA Cup. It's brilliant play from Hutchinson. First time he's took his fullback on, and he cuts it back to Hudson-Odoi. It's a brilliant finish from Hudson-Odoi, right into that bottom corner. And the Wrexham fans, 75th minute, applause for Terry Yorav.
Yes, well spotted. So you'll have heard, of course, the news in recent days, the passing of a real Welsh legend, and Terry Yorav, who managed the national team, played for the national team, long association with various clubs, and that is a nice applause right around the ground, particularly given that it's come immediately after Nottingham Forest has just scored, and Wrexham fans would have been feeling a little bit downbeat. Anyway, slightly later than advertised, we go to Deepdale because, Sonny,
Wigan Athletic of League One are ahead. Preston 0, Wigan 1, and it's 18-year-old Harrison Batoni getting into the box. His shot deflects beyond Everson, and the League One side ahead against the Championship host. Preston 0, Wigan 1.
And what about MK Dons against Oxford United tonight at Stadium MK? Emily Herbert.
Well, it's still MK Dons 1, Oxford 1. Aaron Collins of Milton Keynes causing problems for the Championship outfit. Looking for a second, a strike inside the box, a fingertip save from the Oxford keeper. The League Two side looking to re-establish their lead. Less than 15 to go. MK Dons 1, Oxford 1.
What about Vale Park? Port Vale against Fleetwood Town. Adam Cottier.
Port Vale 1, Fleetwood 0. Jordan Shipley's excellent left foot finish in the first half separates the sides. Fleetwood have looked rather toothless. They've gone a while without a goal and have lost Lewis McCann to a serious looking ankle injury in this game. Not a great game. 1-0 Port Vale.
Well, I have to report this is a great game here. Wrexham 3, Nottingham Forest 2. And who knows, because with the Premier League quality, the way Callum Hudson-Odoi fired in that second goal, the leap of Igor Jesus for Forest's first goal, they could well have a third in them here. And Wrexham are so grateful at the moment that they got that third, that Heim bullet header only a moment ago. It's been a feature of the game, the close succession of when the goals have come. The first and second Wrexham goals had only 3 minutes between them. The Heim third goal for Wrexham and the Hudson-Odoi second for Forest. There was only 2 minutes between those two goals. Here's Sam Smith. He's run tirelessly tonight with the socks just down on his ankles, and he holds the ball up in the midfield here, and Ben Sheaf plays it into the penalty area. The fresh legs of Josh Windus. What a great ball in. Smith can't quite get there. Mites it up. Shot is saved. Saved by Matt Sells, diving down to his right to deny Ryan Longman. And I'll say it again, Clinton, Wrexham look much better coming forward than when they try to sit back and contain.
Yeah, they might as well go end-to-end and make a game of it, because when they sit back, they look like they can see, but when they're going forward, they do cause problems. They've caused a lot of problems. Good shot from Longman there. Forest two centre-backs have been all over the place this evening.
Mistake by Ben Sheaf has given away possession, and here comes Omari Hutchinson down the right-hand side. He steps dangerously into the penalty area. The defender stumbles. Hutchinson tries to shoot, but it cannons off the body of Ben Sheaf, and out it goes for a corner kick. Corner to Forest. Sheaf did really well there to throw his body in the way and to make the block. Corner to Forest.
You think the goal scoring's over, Connor?
No.
Exactly.
No.
No way.
78 minutes on the clock. Wrexham 3, Nottingham Forest 2. Douglas Luiz goes across to take the corner kick. On the left hand, it's so congested in the 6-yard box. They're all jumping in front of the goalkeeper. Cross comes in, flicked on at the front post, but not flicked onto a Forest teammate, as the ball is cleared away by Lewis O'Brien up to the halfway line. Cunha needs all his height there to jump and beat Joe Dobson in the air, and he does. And then the ball is taken down on the deck again by Callum Doyle, and he plays it left-footed forward, trying to get in around the back of the Forest defence. Smith heads it on for himself, tries to sprint after it, but the ball beats him to the byline. He's been a ball of energy tonight. Anything anywhere near him, he's battling to get on the end of it.
It's the first time I've seen him live, Connor, and he's really been impressive. It is so hard playing up front, and the amount of balls Wrexham have stung into the channel, and he's made chase a lost cause. He was unlucky there. He caused Cunha and Morata all kinds of problems this evening. It's been outstanding.
Rathbone, Heim, the goal scorers for Wrexham, Igor Jesus and Callum Hudson-Odoi for Nottingham Forest, and could there be more? At the moment, as things stand, Wrexham are going through to the fourth round of the FA Cup, unless Forest have another goal in them to maybe bring this game into extra time. Possession with the home team. Callum Doyle has it on the halfway line, gives it off to in the midfield to shoot. That's a good ball forward. Now Smith on the left wing has a chance to look up to see who's with him. 3 or 4 red shirts on the edge of the penalty area. This is Ben Sheaf, back to Thomason, infield again to George Dobson. Thomason, who's come on as a left wing back in the game, replacing Kikache, plays a nice little 1-2 here with O'Brien, but then his pass afterwards is poor. Well intercepted by Nicolas Dominguez. Igor Jesus in the centre circle for Forest, passes it out to the left wing to Hudson-Odoi. Nice back heel. This is better now from Forest. Dominguez powers it out to Nico Williams, attacking the penalty area. Williams, the Welsh international, comes back outside the box, trying to find an angle to pick out a teammate. Sends it across the edge of the penalty area. He was looking for Omari Hutchinson, but it was intercepted by George Thompson. The ball is still in play. Forest still have it. Morgan Gibbs wide. He's been the best player on the pitch since coming on. High ball is played in towards the far stick. Under pressure. Scott can only head it down. This is a chance. Nico Williams back onto his left boot. Shoots in low. Too many defenders in the way again. And Wrexham, who continue to defend like demons. Any time a shot comes in, there's a player in red throwing his body at it to make the block. The latest ball in, and again it's flicked on, and this time it's over the top and out for a goal kick. Forest wanted a corner there.
Yeah, they're knocking on the door, you're right. It was a brilliant block. I think it was Doyle from Nico Williams, who's done ever so well since coming on that left back. But they're defending for their lives. It's a proper cup tie, this corner. Really exciting, but yeah, Forest are pushing at the moment.
Yeah, Forest have got the bit between their teeth. They're playing their best football of the game. You look back to the first half, Forest really weren't at the races at all. They've been much improved in the second period. They have scored 2 goals, but in the meantime, Wrexham have scored 3, and that's why the Championship side are in front as things stand here on 5 Live. Okonkwo sends it straight down the middle of the pitch. Cunha wins the header for Forest. Callum Hudson-Odoi, little cushion job, back to Nico Williams, back to Morata on the edge of the penalty area, and Forest here are going to try and play through the press. They have it with Nicolas Dominguez. He's made a difference too, the Argentinian international, since coming on as a sub at half-time. Savona on the right wing for Nottingham Forest, gives it infield to Dominguez, who's given the ball away to Josh Windass. 2-on-2 if Wrexham are quick enough. Windass on his birthday to the edge of the penalty area, doesn't take on the shot, probably cleverly holds it up to retain possession. Now he gets it back again on the edge of the box, rolls it to Sheaf. Sheaf is urged to shoot by the crowd, takes too long. Douglas Luiz can intercept. Now there's a chance of a breakaway at the other end, but Morgan Gibbs White miscontrols and Wrexham regain possession again. And we're in the 83rd minute of the match, and it's still 3-2 to the Championship side.
Connor, what a cup tie. Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. What you want on a Friday night, to watch 2 teams going at it. It's end to end, and we still don't know who's going to win it.
Good ball over the top, but Smith is offside. He set off and he's run a fraction too early. The flag goes up on the far side, and that is a free kick to Nottingham Forest. And in the Premier League, the flag would have stayed down to see what happens and go back and look at it. It actually is refreshing to have the immediate decision there and just get on with it, and Forest have it with Cunha midway inside his own half. Let's go back to Deepdale. Sandy Rujavagila.
Penalty for Wigan. Callum Wright strikes. Oh, and he's hit it over the bar. What an opportunity for Wigan to get a second, and he's missed it. What a huge chance. 84 gone. Preston North End 0, Wigan Athletic 1.
A bit of FA Cup drama there. MK Dons still 1-1 at home against Oxford. Wigan still leading at Preston. Wrexham leading Forest 3-2 here. Here come Wrexham on the attack. Windass floats it in. Attempted header. Sheaf. And then there's appeals, but Sells catches it and rolls it out low to Douglas Luiz.
It's not, you know what it is? Windass does what? Lewis O'Brien's got a free header. Sheaf takes it off his head. He has to communicate. I know there's a lot of noise in it. It's a brilliant ball from Windass, and Sheaf takes it off Lewis O'Brien's head. He's got a free header at the back post.
It's a cacophony of noise in Wrexham at the moment. Douglas Luiz comes forward. Passes out to the right wing to Omari Hutchinson. Nottingham Forest beginning to run out of time here. Back to Savona, sends it across. That's not good enough. That's way too high. That is a waste from Nicola Savona. And Forest, when they've needed the quality, more often than not have been unable to produce it tonight.
Fullback area nowhere near good enough. Apart from Nico Williams, has come on at half time and showed his quality. Savona's is better than that. It's a poor delivery.
Listen to the noise. These Wrexham fans who have just been enjoying the ride of the recent seasons, the 3 promotions in a row, and there is some sort of alchemy here. There is something special, and it's just going to be fascinating to see, can they continue this upward moment? Every step they go up, you think, okay, well, look, come on, they're going to have to stay at this level for a while now. They can't keep going, and yet they do. And this is Windass now, holding their own against Premier League opponents tonight. Here's the ball in the middle. Smith jumps. Was he fouled in the penalty area? Sam Smith wants a penalty. Referee Paul Tierney says no, and there's no VAR, so that'll be the end of it.
Nah, I think it's good defending from Savona. He just gets his body in. I would be appealing like Sam Smith as well, but it's good defended. Really good. Murata and Cunha nowhere near good enough.
No.
Connor, nowhere near.
No, the 2 Brazilians have been found out tonight in the cold in North Wales. They look fish out of water as Nico Williams comes forward down the left-hand side for Nottingham Forest, gives it to Douglas Luiz, sells a nice little dummy back out to Hudson-Odoi, who has scored the second of Forest goals tonight. He plays in a dangerous cross, header straight up into the air. Gibbs White jumps, can't pick out a teammate. Wrexham need to get it away here. George Dobson plays a clever ball in front of Lewis O'Brien. Hutchinson coming back, fouls it. That's just what O'Brien wanted there. He waited for the contact to the back. Down he goes. Yellow card for Hutchinson. Very clever from Lewis O'Brien there. Exactly what Wrexham needed to relieve the pressure.
Very good from Lewis O'Brien. Very stupid from Hutchinson. Kind of sums his night out. Your team are losing. He's going nowhere, Lewis O'Brien. He wants the contact. You give him the contact. Nowhere near good enough.
And that's a good illustration of a moment where the Premier League teams should have more nous than that, but they are falling into the traps that Wrexham are setting for them. This is Josh Windass, 10 yards outside the penalty area that Wrexham are attacking. We've only got 3.5 minutes of normal time to play. Ball given away by Thomason, a few groans there. Forest have it with Gibbs White, but well won back again by Lewis O'Brien. Oh, he's had a brilliant few touches there. Then down goes Josh Windass, another yellow card, and this time for Douglas Luiz. Free kick to Wrexham, 15 yards outside the penalty area they attack. It's still Wrexham 3, Nottingham Forest 2 on 5 live. Clinton.
Yeah, and listen, I don't think that was a foul. I think Windass waited for it, and obviously Douglas Luiz is fuming, but they've been brilliant, Wrexham. When they've been better when they concede, they react after it. When they were sitting back, Connor, you were right. Really disappointing. I think Awoniyi's come on for Douglas Luiz.
Awoniyi comes on, so that's a striker on for a midfielder. Sean Dyche desperately in need of a goal here, brings on Taiwo Awoniyi, and Wrexham are going to make a change too. Ryan Longman is going off.
Ben Sheaf.
Longman was just going over to receive from information, but you're right, it is Ben Sheaf who's been replaced, and as far as how the picture was, is that James McLean who's
it's James McLean, you're right. So we should know that.
But he's miles away.
Yeah, he is miles away.
but
we should both know that.
Yes, absolutely.
To be fair, Sean Dyche must not fancy Awoniyi. You're losing a game and you only bring him on with 3 minutes to go, Connor. It's a strange one, isn't it?
Well, Taiwo Awoniyi, 1 Premier League start this season. He hasn't scored this season. His last goal came in the FA Cup almost a year ago. He scored against Exeter. That was February last year. That's the last time Awoniyi scored a goal. But they need something now. They need a miracle Forest at the moment. Free kick for Wrexham, played into the penalty area. Header flashes across the face of goal and wide.
Yeah, but I just don't understand that. When you've got a centre forward who ain't played a lot, give him 15, 20 minutes. Can't give him 3 minutes to try and make an impact. It's difficult.
It smacks of the desperation that is reeking from Nottingham Forest at the moment. They've come back in this game already. They were 2-0 down. They got it back to 2-1. Then they were 3-1 down. They got it back to 3-2, but Wrexham stubbornly keeping their noses in front ever since that opener from Kikache in the first half. Forest have it on the halfway line. 5-9 for the BBC. We're about to enter the final minute. This is going to be intriguing now. Can the Premier League side get a goal against their lower league opposition? Good ball into the pinner. Callum Hudson-Odoi has scored a beauty. Oh, that'll be the goal of the round. What slick control. It's played into the penalty area from the right wing. He controls it near edge of the box on his chest. And I don't think it hits the ground, Clinton. It comes off his chest onto the volley, and he roofles it into the net. Does it hit the ground?
It's an outrageous finish. You're spot on, Connor. It's a great ball from Savona. He chests it, and his side foot volleys it into the far corner. It is a fantastic finish. You did say there was another goal, Connor, but it is brilliant. This FA Cup tie has been magnificent, and it looks like we might be going to extra time.
It ain't over yet. We always knew there would be another goal. It has gone to Forest. It's 3-3. It's all level again. And for the first time since 0-0, Forest are back on level terms. How are Wrexham going to react to this? They come on the attack down the right-hand side. Josh Windass with the bright yellow boots. Plays it in low to the feet of O'Brien, who's in the penalty area. Back out to Dobson. Puts his studs in it to settle. Nice little touch from O'Brien again. That's a great ball in. What a chance to score. Wow. And they just couldn't get the last touch. Josh Windass was a whisker away. He slid in there like Gaza at Euro 96. He's sliding. He needs one more centimetre. He just couldn't get the touch.
Connor, the ball in is outstanding. I'm heading it in myself. That's what I thrived on. Balls like this. I've seen some crosses into the box. It wants me to get out of retirement. It's a brilliant ball. And you're right, he's inches away. What a cup tie.
What a response for Wrexham, having conceded in the 90th minute. They conceded an equaliser for 3-3. They go straight up the other end and they almost score. Here comes the corner, played in by Dobson, attack to the near post, but ball goes out. It's going to be another corner number 2 in quick succession here for Wrexham. Into stoppage, 5 minutes of stoppages to be added on. There is still time for this cup tie to be won inside the regulation time. Corner on the right-hand side, which James McLean is going to take. Here he comes, left-footed, high, in swinging, right in on top of the goalkeeper. Matt Sells goes down holding his chest. He says he was fouled, and the referee blows the whistle, and that is a free kick to Nottingham Forest inside the 6-yard box.
They're so protected, these goalkeepers. He's going to be all right, you know, Connor.
Yeah, they are the protected species. The referee was happy to play on there, and then he saw the goalkeeper down. It must have been a foul. It wasn't. I've seen the foul.
That's what I'm trying to say. He's seen the goalkeeper go down. He said, "I'm going to give a foul."
The thing is, it's for every team, isn't it? There's no difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, 3-3. Wrexham 3, Nottingham Forest 3, and perhaps extra time looming here at the racecourse ground as the ball is played forward by Thomason, who switched into a more central location since James McLean has come on. McLean is playing at left wing back, and Thomason has now gone into the centre of the midfield where Wrexham are going to need a lot of running if this goes to the extra 30 minutes. Bit of dispute over where a throw-in should be taken. Savona has got to go back a few steps. Throws it towards Awoniyi. Awoniyi thought he was only coming on for a few minutes. He might get a lot of extra time now, unless there's a winning goal to come. What about this? George Dobson lets fly from miles out, and it was just skidding off the outside of his boot, and it was always veering away from the target. But they are still going for it here in stoppage time, Wrexham, trying to make it 4-3.
I don't know if they'll get a better game this weekend in the FA Cup game, because this has been brilliant, in particular in the second half. Both teams going for it. I think it's been a fantastic cup tie.
It has been a thriller so far, and it ain't over yet. 3-3. We've had 6 goals. Nottingham Forest, who at times have seemed to be not at the races, and then at other times they ooze the quality that shows that they're a team who finished top 7 of the Premier League last season. They've got a throw in right in front of the dugouts. Nico Williams is going to take it. No time to waste here. Forest don't want extra time. They've got a really busy fixture list coming up. Europa League, the whole lot coming up for them. As Dobson still battles hard in the midfield, but he can't hold on to possession here. And Savona will pick it up on the right-hand side, and he's got a bit of room to operate in. And he hasn't been able to say that often today. Drills it in towards Awoniyi, who's able to chest it down, but he can't get it to Igor Jesus. And then Thomason comes trying to dribbling it out of defence, lays it off to McLean on the left-hand side. His long clearance up into Nottingham Forest territory, and the ball goes out for a throw-in to the visitors. And Morgan Gibbs-White, who's back in a right-back position, takes the throw-in. Everything is very mixed up at the moment as you'd expect in stoppages at the end of a thrilling 6-6 game. The ball is pumped along by Nico Williams, met by a clean head of Dan Scarr on the edge of his own penalty area. Down onto the deck of the midfield for George Thomason. Plays a nice little 1-2 with Lewis O'Brien. Finds a bit of space now as well on the right-hand side with Longman. Now can Longman deliver? Gives it short to Josh Windass. Now he floats it into the penalty area, but too close to Ger Cunha. Ger Cunha clears away for Forrest, but he's given it straight back to George Dobson once again. 3-3 on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Josh Windass allowed to turn on the edge of the area for Wrexham. Plays it out to the near touchline here to James McLean. McLean trying to get it onto that left boot of his, but he's a little slow in shifting it, and it's well anticipated by Savona, and Savona makes the challenge, and the ball has gone out right down by the corner flag for a throw into Wrexham, and the clock ticks on, and we're 4.5 minutes into what was originally scheduled to be 5 minutes of stoppage time here. McLean to O'Brien. This is close to being the last chance of the regulation time before we go into extra time. McLean closed down by Amari Hutchinson, has to retreat. He goes back again to Dan Scarr. Scarr over to his right hand side to Dominic Heim. Heim, who's been on the score sheet in this game, the big central defender, his first goal in his Wrexham career. Oh, they're battling for it in the midfield now. Wrexham crunching into the tackles, independent. Windass, it's just taken away from Smith. He was about to tap it in, and the outstretched leg of a defender veers it away, and there goes the whistle for the end of 90 minutes. And it's like a crowd applauding two boxers who've gone 15 rounds thumping each other and coming up all square at the end. We're going to have a winner one way and the other, but after the first 90 minutes, Clinton, it's all square at 3-3 on the FA Cup.
Yeah, it's a hell of a game. In the first half, Wrexham were outstanding. Credit to Forest, they come back. Sean Dyche makes the substitutions, they get back in it. But what a game of football it's been. It's been end-to-end, even at the end there. All they wanted is to fall into their path for Wrexham, but yeah, fantastic game of football. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm usually one that wants to get home, Connor. I'm excited for this next half an hour.
Yeah, we will take all of this that they have got on this FA Cup weekend, when we've so many big matches to come over the next few days. What a start to FA Cup third round weekend this has already proved to be here. 3-3 in front of a full house at Wrexham, and they will go for another 30 minutes now, and we're going to see the sort of stamina issue that comes in here now, because this game has been played at a lightning fast pace on a cold night. Who's going to be able to keep that up, and crucially, who is not going to make mistakes as the fatigue creeps in?
Well, that is what it is, because it's not like you say any teams in the ascendancy on the front foot. It looked like Wrexham towards the end were the ones pushing to go and win the game. But yeah, it's a difficult one. Someone will want to win it in 30 minutes for sure. You don't want it to go to penalties. As you said earlier, Connor, 6 days time, Forest play Arsenal, a huge football game at the City Ground. They didn't need this. No. Sean Dyche didn't need this for sure.
But at 3-1 down, not so long ago,
he would have took
they were going out of the FA Cup, and you know, for a newly installed manager, third permanent manager of the season, he certainly wants to avoid that. But 2 goals laid on. Callum Hudson-Odoi has been able to drag what was a 3-1 deficit back to 3-3. And Aaron, we're looking forward for what's yet to come.
Connor, you may remember the former tagline on BBC One during the FA Cup. I think it was the early 2000s. The FA Cup, great drama from the BBC, and that is what we brought you tonight from Stock Kairos. What a game, Lyle Taylor.
The second half has been an absolutely riveting watch. It's everything that Forest needed at half-time, was to turn up the heat and to make their final third entries count. And I mean, Callum Hudson-Odoi has done that in spectacular fashion.
We're also going to extra time at Stadium MK. Emily Herbert.
We are indeed. The League Two side MK Dons holding the Championship visitors Oxford to 1-1 in 90 minutes. Aaron Collins in the first half spinning inside the box to establish the lead for the hosts before Will Lancashire scoring his 7th of the season in the opening stages of the second half to level things up. End-to-end game, and we've got another 30 minutes to go. MK Dons 1, Oxford United 1.
Full time at Deepdale, Sani Rajavajula.
The whistle's just gone. Preston 0, Wigan 1. The winner, 18-year-old Harrison Betoni's effort deflected in, but that only tells half the story. We had a penalty for Wigan with 6 minutes to go. Callum Wright blazed over the bar, and with almost the last kick of the game, Preston North End thought they'd equalised. A cross came in. Sub Brad Potts was there to tap home after an incredible save by Sam Tickle diving to his right, but The assistant's flag was up, and Wigan of League One have beaten 4th in the Championship Preston North End. It's Preston 0, Wigan Athletic 1.
Sani, thank you so much. We are heading back to Stock Kairas. 8 commentaries on 5 Live across the weekend, starting tonight with Wrexham. Plenty of drama and hopefully more across BBC Sounds this weekend. Wrexham 3, Nottingham Forest 3. We head to extra time with Clinton Morrison and your match commentator, Conor McNamara.
Thanks very much. Wrexham making a change here at the end of 90 minutes. Ryan Barnett is about to come on. He will replace Ryan Longman. So one Ryan on for another. It is Ryan Barnett's first appearance in a month.
Connor, is that all their subs now?
Cheapers, there's been so many. I've lost it. 1, 2,
they still
3.
got Jay
they
Rodriguez.
Get one more in extra time.
Oh, they got Jay Rodriguez.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they've got one more.
One more. I was thinking Jay Rodriguez. He's on the bench. Need a goal.
Absolutely. Jay Rodriguez, the former Southampton, Burnley striker, still banging in the goals when given the opportunity. But Ryan Barnett brought on here, and he'll have watched those pulsating 90 minutes from the dugout. I'm sure he's been itching to get involved. Now he gets his opportunity. He's been a regular in the team for much of the season. Barnett, he's playing at right wing back. He's got to keep close to Callum Hudson-Odoi, because Hudson-Odoi is now on a hat-trick, having scored the 2 goals to make the 3-1 deficit back to 3-3 for Nottingham Forest here. Forest are back playing from right to left in this first half of extra time. Nottingham Forest in the white shirts, white socks, dark navy shorts. Wrexham in their traditional kit, the red shirts, the white shorts, the red socks. Very much a Welsh red down there. And well, already, I mean, this is where it's, you know, the joy of being a team from a lower division taking on higher league opposition, the FA Cup. No matter what happens now, Clinton, they've done themselves proud here, Wrexham. Anything from here is a bonus, whereas Forest can still leave here in a bit of disgrace, and that's the jeopardy for Sean Dyche's team. Yeah, because they're the Premier League team. So at the moment, Wrexham have done ever so well. They'll be disappointed being 2-0 up, but they've been outstanding this evening. Crossfield pass from Nicola Dominguez finds Nico Williams in a lot of space. Williams, who came on after 45 minutes, plays a nice pass into the feet of Igor Jesus, 10 yards outside the penalty area. The Forest attack. Callum Hudson-Odoi picks it up, brings play to a standstill, almost standing on the ball. Then he lashes it across the edge of the penalty area to Nicolas Savona, who's come forward here from right back. Hutchinson just outside the corner angle of the penalty area in the right hand side. Back to Dominguez. What a good ball in. Taiwo, one use header, flashes just wide. That's really dangerous. Nottingham Forest close to taking the lead for the first time this evening. Yeah, it's a great ball in. It's a fantastic cross into the box. And when he's coming away from the goal, it's a difficult header, but it will be disappointed he's not unworked the goalkeeper in that situation. But a good start from Nottingham Forest. Goal kick for Arthur Okonkwo, away to our left-hand side, beaten 3 times tonight, but he's commanded his penalty area, particularly with crosses when he's had to. He's made a couple of really good saves too. Launches the ball straight down the middle of the park, but it's controlled on the upper thigh by hard-working Dominguez. Nicola Dominguez, who's seeing a lot of the ball now, and Nottingham Forest playing much better for it. Feeds Callum Hudson-Odoi on the left wing, accelerates in off the touchline into a central location. Gibbs White steadies himself as if he was going to shoot. That was just a decoy. Gives it to Hutchinson. Hutchinson on the edge of the penalty area, tries to turn in a very tight corner. Stumbles a little bit, but holds on to possession. Then Gibbs White launches one in. Igor Jesus is at the back post, but he's been well policed. Good work there to make sure that he wasn't going to get a clean header. Dan Scarr, his presence was all he needed. Pushed to the back of the defender, free kick to the home side. Yeah, it must infuriate managers, because I used to do the same, where you're an attacker going in there. Dan Scarr's got nowhere to go. Igor Jesus should just leave him. He's either going to head it out for a corner or back into the danger area. As soon as you give the nudge, that's all he's waiting for. The last time Wrexham knocked Premier League opposition out of the FA Cup was a long time ago, the 99-2000 season, when they beat Middlesbrough, who were then a top-tier team, in the 3rd round. They were 3-1 up tonight in the closing stages. Forest with the exciting climax to bring it back to 3-3, and that's why we sit here in extra time on 5 Live and BBC Sounds this evening. It was a cold night, but a still night. There's no rain, there's no howling wind here, as the ball is played back to Okonkwo again, and his right-footed clearance straight down the middle, looking for Josh Windass, who's been strong and abrasive since coming on. He really battles for the ball when it's in his vicinity. Nottingham Forest get it back again, and this is Nico Williams in some space on the left wing, and that space is something that hasn't been in the game much, but maybe will become more evident as players struggle to close down quite as quickly now with the extra mileage in the legs the longer the night continues. Hudson-Odoi gives it back to Nicholas Dominguez, 10 yards outside the penalty area, maybe a shooting position, tries to guide one in. It was a sort of a hybrid Truscombe shot. Okonkwo didn't want to commit too early to it, but then he dived down to the ball and then had to be careful because he nearly skidded off the field and it would have been a corner, but the goalkeeper used his experience well there and Wrexham were able to get the ball away. 3-3.
Yeah, he did well because Dominguez, it was a cross-come shot. I think he was caught in 2 minds, but it was dangerous in the end, and Okonkwo did ever so well because it looked like he was going to slide out for a corner.
3-3 on 5 Live. Here comes Savona down the right-hand side for Nottingham Forest into Igor Jesus, plays it with the outside of the right boot accurately to Callum Hudson-Odoi, stepping into the penalty area, tries to flash one in, that's blocked by Ryan Barnett, who did well to get close, and now he's got to do the same thing again because Hudson-Odoi has possession, corner angle of the box, lofts one in, looking for Igor Jesus, arriving in the back post was Savona, who didn't seem to be expecting that coming to him, and if anything he was veering to get out of the way of it because it's gone out for a corner. I wondered if Savona was a bit hungrier there, might he have got into a chance at goal himself.
Yeah, you're right. I think because it skidded up on him, he didn't want to hook it back in, but you're right, Connor, there was an opportunity, and I think he thinks Forrest more dangerous from the set piece in the corner.
Corner is going to be taken by Omari Hutchinson. 3-3 on 5 Live. We've played 95 minutes now. 5 minutes played in the first half of extra time. Short run up from Omari Hutchinson. A very much in-swinger right in on top of the goalkeeper, who punches it to the edge of the box. Nico Williams fires it back in. Too many bodies in the way and it ricochets and it pinballs and it eventually leaves the box, and then James McLean plays it forward, but straight to Nico Williams, and Nottingham Forest regain possession once again. They're back on the halfway line. Morgan Gibbs wide, over to the right wing to Omari Hutchinson, running at James McLean, shows too much of the ball to George Thomason. Thomason and McLean did really well to double up there. Then Lewis O'Brien gives away the ball in midfield. Dobson wasn't running where O'Brien thought he was, so Forrest get it back again. Callum Hudson-Odoi into Igor Jesus, 10 yards outside the penalty area, central location. Dominguez comes to join in, back to Hudson-Odoi again. The Forest players realise that Hudson-Odoi has been their brightest spark and they can't give him the ball often enough at the moment. Nico Williams to the byline down the left hand side. This is patient from Forest. They're not just pumping it into the box, they're waiting for the best opportunity. Here maybe now, Hudson-Odoi, is he going to send it in? No, he keeps it down on the deck, back to Savona. They're trying to make the pitch wide here, spraying it from one side of the pitch to the other, trying to unsettle the Wrexham defenders, but when eventually a ball is played in, it's poor. Forest win it back immediately though. Windass wasn't able to hold on to it. This is a very good spell of pressure from Sean Dyche's team. This is Hutchinson to the byline, down the right hand side, lashes it across the face of goal, skids over everyone and goes out for a goal kick. 3-3 here in extra time to Vale Park. Port Vale against Fleetwood Town and Adam Cottier.
Where John Brady's first match in charge of Port Vale sees him take them through to the 4th round for the first time in 12 years. Jordan Shipley's splendid left foot finish in first half, added time won it for Vale, bottom of League One, but into round 4 of the FA Cup they've beaten Fleetwood 1-0.
Thanks very much, Adam. So a change here for Nottingham Forest, a change in defence. Savona, who, well, let's kindly say he's not been Forest's best player tonight. He goes off, replaced by Murillo, who is a regular in the team. He was Forest Player of the Year last year. Murillo comes in into a defence that, you know, first and foremost, Sean Dyche does not want to concede a 4th goal here tonight. Of course he wants to go and score a 4th of his own, but crucially he wants to be rock solid at the back, and Murillo's been brought in to try and add that extra shield as Hudson-Odoi has it on the left hand side. Nico Williams is moving across to play right back, I think showing his versatility, and Murillo's going to play left hand side, which will give him a chance to come forward, and he is a presence in the penalty area, Murillo, when he's allowed to do that. This is Hutchinson on the edge of the penalty area, lofts in a good cross. Igor Jesus just can't get up off the ground to meet it, and it goes out for a goal kick, and Wrexham breathe a sigh of relief again. And since the turn into extra time, Clinton, Forest are showing that Premier League pedigree, and Wrexham are finding it more difficult to create chances now. I just see Sam Smith has gone down, maybe cramp. He's run his socks off tonight, but he can't keep producing miracles up there in his own.
No, it's difficult. He's put a shift in. He's been up there by himself. I think that maybe this is the time for Jay Rodriguez. As I say, Wrexham are doing well in the league. You don't want to pick up injuries. You've already got Kiefer Moore, who's out at the moment. Sam Smith's been scoring goals. He's starting to fatigue. He's putting a hell of a shift.
So Jay Rodriguez, the tall central striker, is being prepared. He'll be 37 next birthday, Jay Rodriguez. But unlike most of his Wrexham colleagues, he's got loads of history against Nottingham Forest in the past. He's got a very good record against them. 6 goals in 8 games against Forest in his career for Jay Rodriguez. Can he come on and maybe turn back the clock and remind us back in the day when for younger listeners, Jay Rodriguez was once in an England squad. I mean, he's got an England cap, Jay Rodriguez.
Yeah, definitely. And, when they signed him, I thought he'd be a regular, playing more. But obviously they've got the likes of Kiefer Moore. Smith's come in and been good. And it's an opportunity now for Jay Rodriguez. He does have class and he does have quality and he can score a goal.
13 FA Cup goals in his career for Jay Rodriguez. So he comes on now in place of Sam Smith, who's getting a standing ovation. Been really impressed with Smith tonight. He's just buzzed around. He's been like a wasp, just annoying the Forest defenders, chasing, hounding, absolutely everything, and causing mistakes.
Yeah, he's been a nuisance. That's what he's been like. You're right. You're spot on, Connor. He's not given Marato Cunha a piece all evening. He's been outstanding. But as I said, opportunity now for Jay Rodriguez. Can he be the match winner? 3-3.
Just a reminder, if you're joining us, right at the start of the game, Forest scored a goal that was disallowed for Douglas Luiz. Wrexham went down the other end, took the lead. Kakachi made it 1-0. Then it was 2-0, Rathbone. Then goal back for Igor Jesus. Then 3-1, Heim, the central defender, with a diving header. Then it became the Hudson-Odoi show through the closing minutes of the regulation 90. 2 goals for the former Chelsea man. And this game sits at 3-3, and it ain't over yet, but it will be one way or the other, even if it takes the penalty kicks to decide the outcome tonight. And probably a little bit early to start talking about them just yet, but I'll say one thing about the penalty kicks. Last season, when Forest got all the way to the semis, they had 3 shootouts along the way, so they've got plenty of experience of winning penalty shootouts in the FA Cup, but it hasn't come to that, not yet. This is McLean on the far side for Wrexham, trying to play the ball forward. Jay Rodriguez trying to get involved and get his first few touches on the ball. It's been worked nicely here for Lewis O'Brien. O'Brien gives it away, though you can hear the groans. Morato is able to clear away for Nottingham Forest, but Wrexham win it back again immediately, and Ryan Bennett will send it across on the right-hand side. Windass was ready to nod it in, but Morato got there ahead of him. Another chance for Bennett to send it across, blocked off Murillo. That's a corner to Wrexham, and they might as well go and throw the kitchen sink at this.
Yeah, they are. It's brilliant play. It's good play down the right-hand side, and yeah, he's caused problems since he's come on, and it's a good delivery into the box and really good defending.
Yeah, Ryan Barnett, who, as soon as he got the ball there, you could tell the little fizz around the crowd that they're used to the quality of his crosses. They knew that was going to be a good delivery. Here comes the corner, left-footed, in swinging from the right-hand side. Header of the back post is just wide, just off target. I think it was Callum Doyle up there, couldn't get it on the inside of the post. Forest breathe a sigh of relief. Yeah. It is still 3-3.
Yeah, you're right, Connor. They're a threat from set pieces. They're a good team, Wrexham. It's the first time you watch them actually live. See a lot of them when you're watching on TV, but to watch them live, they cause a lot of problems, and they're very direct and good at what they do.
Very well drilled. A credit to Phil Parkinson, how he has equipped this team in what is a high-profile role with the celebrity owners and all the razzmatazz and the rest of it. But doesn't he go about it in exactly the right way? They don't go chasing big superstar names. He very cleverly has recruited players that are going to work in his team, and that's what we're seeing tonight. 3-3 against Premier League opposition. Wrexham in possession inside their own half. Thomason doesn't rush it, holds onto the ball. O'Brien, big roar of man on against his old team, but he is relieved of possession. Morgan Gibbs-White has it back again, but he won't hold on to it for long. Thomason stretches out a leg. Forrester lucky that the loose ball runs to Murillo. Gives it back in field again to Gibbs-White, and he looks for space and he finds it with Nico Williams on the right-hand side, and Nico Williams chops back in on his right boot, steadies himself, sends in across, but a leap from Callum Doyle to send it back outside the penalty area. Wrexham just need to hold on to possession a little bit more now. They're working so hard to win it, they need to retain the ball. Cleared away by Heim, high up towards the halfway line. Lewis O'Brien doesn't have any chance against Murillo. Morato heads it down. Gibbs-White neat and tidy. Back to Jer Cunha, and back inside their own half again. Nottingham Forest look to build from the back. 12.5 minutes played in the first half of extra time. Wrexham 3, Nottingham Forest 3. The FA Cup third round and 5 live. Murillo, oh, that's a lovely sidestep. Plays a dangerous ball forward, and Awoniyi's onto this, into the penalty area. Gives it out to the left wing. Callum Hudson-Odoi. 4 white shirts wait in the middle. Hudson-Odoi into the area himself, looking for his hat-trick goal. Can't get the angle to shoot. Gives it to Williams. Good shot, good save. Williams was on target there, but Okonkwo puts it out for a corner to Nottingham Forest on the left-hand side.
Yeah, it's a good save from Okonkwo. It's when he should make, because he's at a height. But it's, you know what Hudson-Odoi is coming across the box. It's that goal he likes to score where he comes in on his right foot. And they defended it well, Wrexham. But good strike from Williams.
Yeah, one moment of quality like this and Wrexham could be out of the FA Cup, and there have been dangerous moments, particularly the closing 15 minutes of normal time. The 14 minutes that we've had of this extra time first half so far. We're almost at the midway point of extra time, and this corner kick is going to be taken by Morgan Gibbs-White, who just scrapes a bit of mud out from between his studs with his hand, and here he comes, right-footed from the corner into the central area, the penalty area. Little nod header away by Barnett. That'll do. Just get it out of danger. Back to the halfway line to Jer Cunha. Wrexham afraid to come out too far though, because they know this is coming straight back at them. Ball is controlled on the far side by Jay Rodriguez. Wrexham have it with James McLean, one of the more experienced players, and he doesn't rush it here, and he knows they've got to hold on to the ball a little bit here. Tries to play it up towards Jay Rodriguez, but doesn't find his man, and a few groans again from the Wrexham fans as Nottingham Forest regained possession once again.
Yeah, Forest have been good in this half, and Wrexham look tired. They look like they're struggling.
Yeah. The fatigue has certainly become a factor. This is where the willpower comes in, the desire. How much do Wrexham want this against a Forest team who are showing that Premier League fitness? As a throw-in is taken by Murillo. That's a foul throw, surely. How is that not a foul throw? Anyway, play on, says the referee. Forest still in possession, back inside their own half. Morato back to the edge of the penalty area. Matt Sells, and he plays it over into space for Jer Cunha on the right-hand side, and now Nico Williams plays the ball forward. 3-3 in this thrilling cup tie at Wrexham tonight on 5 Live. Wrexham who were 3-1 up at one stage. Moving into stoppages here at the end of the first half of extra time, and Callum Hudson-Odoi comes scorching forward. Great pace from Hudson-Odoi, shoots about 2 feet wide. He went with his left foot towards the low bottom corner, and it's into the side netting.
Yeah, to be fair, he ran away from Dobson. Dobson, you're thinking, can he get back at him? It's always going to be difficult. Hard one to beat him from his near post. He should really be going across him, but he's been the most likeliest for Forest in this first bit of extra time for sure.
So goal kick for Okonkwo. We're almost at the break in extra time. There haven't been any goals since the end of the original 90 minutes. Okonkwo plays it up over the halfway line. Most of his clearances have been long. They don't try and play it out short with those goal kicks as the referee blows the whistle for the break. 3-3. It still feels like there could be a winning goal before penalties, but one way or the other, we're going to get an outcome here, Clinton.
Yeah, we are. And Forest look the most likely at the moment. They're the ones causing problems, getting crosses into the box. I think Awonyi and Igor Jesus, are causing a lot of problems up front. And Hudson-Odoi, he looks like, if Forest are going to get something, he looks like he'll either create or score the winner.
It's the quality that Sean Dyche has brought off the bench that have really levelled things up here. A game that Wrexham at one stage, Aaron, it felt like they might run away with it. It's rarely that easy in the FA Cup against higher league opposition. Forest so impressive to get back to 3-3. But which way does the pendulum swing now?
Connor, Clinton, take a breath. We'll take you to Stadium MK next, into extra time. Emily Herbert.
Yeah, we've got 1 minute of extra time to play here before the break. Still looking for the breakthrough. 1-1, the League Two side MK Dons holding the Championship outfit Oxford to a stalemate end to end. It's been a really fierce contest. Can't break down the back lines. Neither can find the quality in that final third. And we've got 15 minutes to play before the break here, before we go to penalties. MK Dons 1, Oxford United 1.
Emily, thank you. Just watching the players take on fluids at Stock. Kairas, Lyle Taylor, former Nottingham Forest striker, alongside us this evening on 5 Live Sport. And Lyle, this next 15 minutes is anybody's game.
It is anybody's game. You'd like to think if Nottingham Forest are going to win this game, Morgan Gibbs-White will play a massive part in that. I think Wrexham now are kind of in self-preservation mode. They're gonna hold on to what they've got, or try and hold on to what they've got, and try and go for penalties and see if they can win that lottery.
Two teams doing the FA Cup already tonight. Wigan Athletic beating Preston North End by a goal to nil. Port Vale beating Fleetwood by the same scoreline. And we're back to the racecourse ground for commentary. Wrexham 3, Nottingham Forest 3. Clinton Morrison and Conor McNamara.
Thanks very much, Aaron. Into the second half of extra time in a pulsating FA Cup tie. And straight away Wrexham go on the attack, and Morata's mistake, and Windass tries to shoot, and Sells came out and smothered it. And 18 seconds into the second half of extra time, and Wrexham nearly get their fourth, Clinton.
He's all over the shot, Morata. But to be fair, Windass should probably do better than that. He's had the touch, and I think he doesn't expect it. And you got to credit Sells, he does ever so well. But yeah, Morata's had a bad night. I'm surprised he didn't bring on Milenkovic as well for one of the centre halves.
Well, what a statement that is right at the start of the second period of extra time from Wrexham. They are not going to sit back and pray for a penalty shootout. They believe that they can get a winner of their own, as Forrest now come on the attack for the first time since the break. Igor Jesus over to the left-hand side to Murillo. Murillo dragging it under his studs. Very Brazilian body language about him there as he did that. Hutchinson in the penalty area, ball motionless at his feet. Plays it back to Hudson-Odoi. Drops the shoulder, back heel to Hutchinson again. They're trying to weave into an angle to shoot here, but hard-working Wrexham don't allow that angle. And then Dobson gives away a free kick and shooting position, and this will be of concern. Morgan Gibbs-White has already gathered the ball.
Yeah, he let Douglas Luiz have it earlier. I think there's only probably one man who's having it this time, even though Murillo's got a sweet left foot, but I don't think Gibbs-White's going to let him have this one.
So this is about, I would say, 6 yards outside the penalty area. It is slightly right of centre. If you were to say to Morgan Gibbs-White, right, pick your spot. Where do you want to take a free kick from? This would be close enough to where he would choose in terms of distance out here. Wrexham erecting a 4-man wall. No draft excluder, not yet. As a hush descends over the stadium now. And this battle which has worked the Wrexham fans into a tears, into a real fever. But the sobering knowledge always in the background that this could still have a disappointing end to the night. 3-3 in extra time. Murillo and Morgan Gibbs-White both standing over it. Gibbs-White was the man who placed the ball, which is often a good indicator. Hutchinson came across to have a little look as well. So there's options from both sides. Big moment this in the game. Free kick to Forrest, just outside the penalty area, and they take their time, and Murillo thumps it, and he thumps it wide. Well, it took off like a train, but it was always moving away from the target. 3-3 it remains.
Yeah, he didn't try and get no bend on it. He went for power. I thought he was trying to try and curl it, but yeah, it was disappointing in the end. I think Gibbs-White would be looking and saying, I'm definitely having the next one.
That was like when you're playing golf and you just try to melt the ball. You go way too hard, and it's never a good shot when you try to. That's exactly what he did there with the free kick.
That was one of my golf shots.
Most of mine. This is Dominguez winning a header in the midfield. The battle is on. You know, it's got that wonderful FA Cup. In the Premier League, you don't see dirty shirts like this. You don't see mud stains the way we've got in this FA Cup tie tonight in North Wales. Ball is played forward by Callum Doyle. Good pass to O'Brien in the midfield. O'Brien has still got really fresh legs, having come on as a sub. Gives it to McLean on the left-hand side. That's a really good ball in. Murillo underneath it though for Nottingham Forest, and Gibbs-White is able to clear the ball away. Gives it to Igor Jesus. That's what McLean still has. You know, he's getting on in age, but give him a crossing position. He knows how to deliver.
Definitely. James McLean would try and get half a yard, and he could deliver it. It was a great ball into the box. Good defending.
Gibbs-White over the halfway line. Playing it out towards Callum Hudson-Odoi on the left wing. Great first touch from Hudson-Odoi to control that. Steps into the box now. Little acceleration. Tries to pop it in towards the far post from where he's coming from. But it's headed away by O'Brien, and it's controlled by Gibbs-White. And this is Hutchinson taking on McLean. But again, too many red shirts in the way. And Dominic Heim is able to clear away as Forrest come again. Williams lashes in a ball, maybe too forcefully. It's kept in play by Hudson-Odoi on the left wing. Pulls it back for Nicola Dominguez, 10 yards outside the penalty area. Low ball to the feet of Awunyi. Tries to give it back to Dominguez, but again, they're fighting like tigers down there, the Wrexham players. They're not giving an inch. Nico Williams steadies himself, but play has been held up, and the referee's whistle has been blown, and it's going to come back. And I'm not quite sure what decision Paul Tierney's given here.
I think the ball's popped.
I'm not surprised. The way the tackles were flying in there, they have burst the ball. I haven't seen that since the Hotshot Hamish comic book.
Well, you said this was an old school match where there's mud on there, and that was an old school tackle.
We burst the ball cannot take any more. 3-3-6 goals. 20 minutes played in stoppage time. And in extra time, and Hutchinson goes for a shot from outside the penalty area. It was bending, but it was always too high. And it goes out for a goal kick to Wrexham. And exhaustion creeping in for everyone now, as we have got 10 minutes to penalties. at the racecourse ground.
Yeah, it's a good. This has had everything, hasn't it, Connor? A ball burst from a tackle, mud on the shirts, everything. It's been brilliant. It's been a. Can we get a winner? If not, as you said, it's going to go to the penalties, which will be very exciting.
Still feel there's a big chance. Still feel there's a goal before the penalties as Jay Dominguez wins a flick-on header. Got it up to Windass, who was in an offside position as the ball was played to him. That's a free kick to Nottingham Forest, and they take it quickly. Dominguez keeping the flow going. Hudson-Odoi gives it to Nico Williams on the right-hand side. Out to Hutchinson. Hutchinson low in stature, but fleet-footed, cutting back in on his left boot. Then he goes to his right boot, heads off for the byline, into the penalty around McLean, but he's taken it too far. He hurdles over the advertising hoarding. He's almost in amongst the crowd, and James McLean for a moment looked like time was catching up with him there, but he just about had enough to veer Hutchinson out wide.
Yeah, too much from Hutchinson. I feel like it's been a story of his evening. He shows promising signs, and his end product, he has to work on that. He's a good player. We know how good he was at Ipswich for the England under-21s, but to go to that next level has to have end product.
Great start to the FA Cup third round weekend tonight, and stay with us across the weekend on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. We've got all the big games over the next few days as Wrexham win a corner down the right-hand side. That's really clever. Windass putting it off the shins of Morato. Corner to Wrexham. Could this be the big moment? James McLean goes across to place it, and almost trying to be incognito. Scar and Heim and Doyle, the three burly central defenders, unassumedly walk into the penalty area and hope that they can plant themselves on the end of this James McLean delivery. Everyone back defending it for Forest. Here it comes, high, swirling, in-swinger, headed down by Scar. Wasn't able to pick out a teammate. Dobson stabs at it, but it goes wide of the target, and it's a goal kick to Nottingham Forest, and the visitors breathe a sigh of relief, and we've got less than 8 minutes to go.
Let me tell you, if Sean Dyche had hair, he'd be pulling out his hair, because the one thing I've known, and I know Dyche for a long time, his teams are based on defending set pieces ever so well. Forest is tonight have never made the first contact when the ball's gone into their box corner.
It's been a long old night, and still we play. And Williams over the halfway line. Nico Williams, the Welsh international, playing against a Welsh club tonight. Hutchinson given time on the edge of the penalty area. Both defenders just peeled away from him for a moment there. Usually they take it in turns, but they both dodged away, but Hutchinson couldn't take advantage of it. Dominguez picks it up here in a more central location. He'll give it to Morato, who doesn't come forward very often, but he's up midway inside the Wrexham half of the moment. Out to Callum Hudson-Odoi, who scored 2 goals in the game already, and he'll veer in off the touchdown on the left-hand side, and it's all chopping and changing and turning. And now Hudson-Odoi leaves it off to Awonye, and the attempted shot from Morgan's Gibbs White doesn't have the power that was needed from there, and it repels and it ricochets, and it's all the way back down in the other half of the field, and Nottingham Forest have to build from the back again. And now it's 7 minutes. 7 minutes to penalties on 5 Live. Murillo plays it forward. A leap on the edge of his own penalty area from Sker. Wins the ball. Good running here from O'Brien. Down the right-hand side. 3 on 3. O'Brien into the penalty area. Tries to shuffle it infield. He had Dobson, he had Windass with him. He wasn't able to pick out the pass, but it is a throw into Wrexham on the right-hand side, and they use the multi-ball system, and they get it back in play immediately. And it's played in by Ryan Barnett. And a header from James McLean, stooping from 12-15 yards out, goes over the crossbar.
It would have been some goal if he scores from there. It was about 12-13 yards out, and there wasn't enough pace on the ball, but they're a threat, Wrexham. What they do is they defend in their numbers. The likes of O'Brien, Thomason, Windass and Rodriguez are breaking, and they're still causing Forest a lot of problems as well on the counter-attack.
Yeah. Recent wins have propelled Wrexham up to just behind the playoff positions in the Championship. Evidence of how well they have adjusted to life, just as they did when they went from non-league up to the 4th tier, just as they did when they went 4th tier to 3rd tier. No step has proved insurmountable for Wrexham so far under Phil Parkinson, and tonight the first time in that 10 year that they come up against Premier League opposition. And 3-3 here with almost 120 minutes played. Dangerous ball into the penalty area. Brave header from Callum Doyle. He has thrown his body where it's needed to be tonight, I mean, all the defenders have worked hard, but Doyle with a real bit of class about him there as the ball goes out of play on the far side. Nearly interception for Wrexham, which could have forced a counter-attack. And every little moment like that could be the deciding moment of the game. One mistake, one moment of brilliance puts one of these teams into the fourth round. Here's Nico Williams, 15 yards outside the penalty area. Right-hand side as Nottingham Forest comes forward. Gives it short to Morgan Gibbs-White. He's got Hutchinson outside him. Early delivery this time from Hutchinson. A leaping punch by Okonkwo. He came like Superman off his goal line there to punch the ball away. But Forest get it back again. Dominguez, 10 yards outside the penalty area. Into Murillo, into the feet of Awonyi. Tries to shoot. All night there's been no room for shots in the box. Smothered again. Wrexham are exhausted, but they're hanging on, and we've got 4.5 minutes to go. There might be a little bit of stoppages too. Hutchinson swirls the ball in. Two defenders jump together. They need to talk better. They could have cleared that away more comfortably. Dominguez picks it up for Forest, just outside the penalty area. Gives it to Callum Hudson-Odoi. Great FA Cup drama late on here at Wrexham. Chance, Igor Jesus' shot is on target, but it's saved by Okonkwo, diving down to his right-hand side, and he doesn't just save it, he holds it, and the game is still at 3-3. Now we have got 4 minutes to go.
Brilliant game. It's not end to end because it's all Forest at the minute, but fair play, you're right. Wrexham are defending for their lives and defending in their numbers, and they've been outstanding. But you're thinking you want there to be a winner, but you don't, because it deserves penalties, the game, because it's been that good of a game.
The drama is set to continue. Good interception by Callum Doyle. Oh, but then he's given the ball away. And luckily for him, he gave it away to the hapless Morato tonight, who's struggled to put a foot right, and he's given away possession there. McLean tries the first time pass, groans again as Nico Williams nearly intercepts. They're both on their feet here. They're absolutely exhausted. They're trying the spectacular, and that's a difficult combination. Tiredness and brilliance, it's difficult to get those two together, but they're both giving it everything. That's what the FA Cup is all about. This is Thomason in the midfield. Dobson tries to play it forward. Jay Rodriguez tries to peel off the shoulder of Cunha, but the ball was travelling too swiftly, and it travels through to the goalkeeper Matt Sells, and the Forest custodian has it away to our left-hand side. 3 minutes to penalties on 5 Live, 3-3.
Yeah, you're right. Everyone looks knackered. Even Forest players look knackered, and I know Sean Dyche ain't going to like this for their Premier League. So once you've gone through this extra time, Connor, you want to go and win it, because you're thinking, we've gone through this hard work, we need to come out the other end. Same for Wrexham, though. They'll have a lot of football. There's a lot of games coming up in the Championship.
The story tonight, Wrexham, who were 3-1 up in regulation time. Forest came back with 2 late goals from Callum Hudson-Odoi to bring this into extra time. There hasn't been any goals since the end of the 90 minutes. Hudson-Odoi is in possession at the moment. He's been a revelation since coming on. He's been just direct. He's getting work done. He has Murillo in support here. They switch again. Over to the right wing go Nottingham Forest. To Nico Williams. Trying to step into the penalty area. One step over. Lashes it in low. Right-footed. Acrobatically cleared away by Hine. He to be careful there not to power that into his own net for an own goal. He's been able to scuff it away. Did it go for a corner?
Yeah, I think the way it's set up. It's a great ball in. Awonyi and Igor Jesus, you've got to get into the 6-yard box. That is how you're going to score as a centre forward. Everyone's got their hands in the air, but I think it's a great ball from Nico Williams.
2 minutes of extra time remain. 3-3, 5 Live at BBC Sounds, the opening night of FA Cup third round weekend, and boy is it delivered so far. But we still don't know if Wrexham are going to get their Premier League scalp here. Morgan Gibbs-White, in swinger, they all jump at the front post for it. Oh, it's a real melee. Several players could have rocketed it in. Here's Hutchinson, tries to drill it in low. Wrexham breathe an enormous sigh of relief. That was risky, it really was. Any little toe poke at all, and it could have been a winning goal for 4-3. Forest have it. Murillo playing well in this more advanced role that he's come on for Sean Dyche in this extra time period. Hutchinson takes it down off his chest, rolls it along the ground with his left boot, tries to hammer it in, near post, saved by Okonkwo again. That was different. They've all gone back post. This time he tried to catch the keeper out. Okonkwo mentally sharp and alert.
Yeah, he does well, because he could have got beaten on his near post there. So yeah, he did ever so well. Good play from Hutchinson there as well.
The countdown continues. The final minute of extra time. Jay Rodriguez comes forward. O'Brien tries to give it back to Windass is in, goes down, he's looking for a penalty. He's not going to get it there. That was a dive. It's going to be a yellow card for Josh Windass, trying to get a penalty at the very death here. after he couldn't get onto the through ball from O'Brien. Yellow card for him, and no great complaints. He knows he's banked to rights there.
Yeah, he had a bad touch and then he just threw himself to the ground. Before that, I don't know what Dominguez was doing. He let the ball bounce. It looked knackered, and he's only come on at half-time, to be fair, but played a lot of football.
10 seconds of the half hour of extra time remain. There'll be a little bit to add on, but there won't be much. Hudson-Odoi, Murillo, is this Forest's last chance? Awonye, edge of the penalty area, back to goal. Gibbs-White fizzes it out to the left wing. Hudson-Odoi sends it across the snow on the back post. Cheers from Wrexham fans. Ball goes out of play. It's the end of action. It's going to be a penalty shootout tonight to decide who goes through. And I don't know who writes these Hollywood scripts, but boy, Wrexham, they choose the scripts, don't they? They get the storylines, and more drama is set to follow here, Aaron. 3-3 after 120 minutes tonight.
Absolutely, Connor. Clinton, back with you for penalty kicks in a moment or so. Are we heading that way at Stadium MK? Emily Herbert.
It looks like it. We've got a minute to play here. The League Two side, MK Dons, holding the Championship side, Oxford, to a 1-1 draw. Tiredness really creeping in extra time. Neither side finding the quality in the final third to create really any chances. And it looks like we're going to penalties that will decide who will go through to the fourth round. A minute to play. MK Dons 1, Oxford United 1.
Emily, thank you so much. Lyle Taylor, earlier on, well, just before extra time, we said this is anyone's game. It really is now, because this is the ultimate lottery.
It is lottery time for these two clubs, and which goalkeeper is going to make himself a hero?
Absolutely. Clinton Morrison has been alongside us at commentary. Clinton, just looking at the fatigue setting in for those Forest players, and this is borderline disastrous for Sean Dyche in the race for survival in the Premier League.
Yeah, he didn't want this extra time, but I think once you've gone into this extra time, as you want to get through to the next round, you've had to bring on your Premier League starting players, and they've come on and made a big difference. And yeah, it's all about, and I always say, when you get to these penalty shootouts, and Lau will tell you, because he was one of the best at taking penalties, you got to hold your nerve, and a lot of players change your mind. If you're one of the first five, you want to take it. After that, it's a lottery. So yeah, I'm here for it, as I'm glad we've got the penalties now after a long night.
Clinton, what side are you choosing right now?
So
You're
when
taking the first penalty.
Yeah, when I step up, I always used to go and try and whip it across the goalkeeper, so into that bottom left-hand corner. I always go across. Everyone said it's difficult. Couldn't do that. I know you've got the stutter and the roll and the slowness. I know your penalties are outstanding, but that weren't my game, mate.
No, I hear it. I think in terms of penalties, I think 70% or something like that go across themselves, because it's the easiest way to generate power.
Yeah.
But I mean, it really is anyone's game at this point, because with fatigue and everything else setting in, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Clinton,
exactly.
I mean, tell us what the atmosphere has been like at the racecourse this
Well, let me
evening.
tell you something. When Wrexham scored to make it 3-2, someone slapped my head and knocked the headphones off my head. That is what the atmosphere has been like. Jumping all over me, spilling stuff on my back. So that's the atmosphere. It's been a brilliant atmosphere. And yeah, Wrexham are going places. You can see this club are definitely going places, and exciting times.
Lyle, wouldn't it just be Hollywood-like for Wrexham to nick this on penalties?
Oh, imagine the first four penalties are missed, one each. The next two are missed. Wrexham step up, score the next one, and the goalie saves the fifth one to make it 2-1.
Nottingham Forest were involved in 3 FA Cup penalty shootouts last season. They're going to need a penalty shootout win to progress to the fourth round of this season's competition. Back to you for penalty kicks, Conor McNamara.
There's the two goalkeepers who have just been given their instructions by the referee. It's like a referee in a boxing match, you know. Keep your punches above the belt, stay on your goal line. Josh Windus has taken on the responsibility to take that lonely walk from the halfway line down to the penalty area away to our right-hand side to take the first penalty kick for Wrexham. Since the Hollywood owners came in, this is the first time they have played a Premier League team, and Wrexham have brought it to penalties tonight. 3-3 after 120 minutes. Josh Windass, yellow boots, tall number 10, but a very short run, Clinton, which always makes me feel nervous. Short run, 2 steps, straight down the middle and in. Josh Windass gives advantage to Wrexham at the very start of the penalty shootout.
Yeah, it's a good penalty. I think Josh, knowing how I know Josh Windass, He was so confident. If he had missed, I would have let him know about it, Connor, but it's a good penalty.
Stepping up after seeing the Wrexham number 10 score, it is the Nottingham Forest number 10. It is Morgan Gibbs White, England international, introduced into the game at half-time in normal time. Wrexham fans behind the goal have turned on the torches in their phones and they're waving it to try and distract Morgan Gibbs White up against Arthur Okonkwo, this tall goalkeeper who can reach up without jumping and touch the crossbar. He's bouncing up and down on his toes. It's a more standard run-up from Morgan Gibbs White as he waits and he pauses, and now here he comes, right-footed. Morgan Gibbs White sends the keeper the wrong way, and it is 1-1 with a penalty apiece taken in the FA Cup tonight on 5 Live.
Yeah, it's a good penalty. He's their penalty taker during the Premier League season, and yeah, it's who can hold your nerve now. It's James McLean stepping up next. It's a big penalty for him, but a really good penalty from Morgan Gibbs White.
You want experience, you want know-how, you need someone who's not going to be intimidated by the big moment, and yet all those factors seem to disappear at times, and the pressure on the shoulders, the story for Wrexham. They know in the background documentaries are being made, books are being written, songs are being sung. This could be a huge night. McLean comes forward and he has put it over the crossbar and he's lashed it too high and too hard. It's a setback for Wrexham as James McLean, the club captain, sends it too high, and now the chance for Ico Jesus to put Forest in front.
He's the one player, to be fair, with his left foot. I didn't expect that. I thought James would have just whipped it across into that far corner, and he's leaning back, and he's usually got very good technique. This is a big pressure, this one though, Igor Jesus. I always think the one after Connor's a big one.
Igor Jesus scored last month in the Europa League against Utrecht, 1 goal in the Premier League. Came in December against Wolves. He places the ball. Again, the torches of the mobile phones dance and wave behind the goal that he's looking at. It's a really long run. He's come out of the penalty area. Here he comes. Igor Jesus, saved by Okonkwo, diving to his right-hand side. It was a well-taken penalty, Clinton, but Okonkwo performs heroics, and with 2 penalties taken each, it's all square at 1-1.
It's a brilliant save from Okonkwo. He never looked confident though, Connor. You said about the long run that he had, and that's a centre forward. Centre forwards are usually confident, and it looked like a pressure penalty for him. But it's a brilliant save. You're right, outstanding save.
Up next, Callum Doyle, the former Manchester City player, the central defender, who comes forward, left-footed player who wears number 2 on his back. And it's a short run-up from him too. He's only gone back 2.5 paces. Here he comes. Doyle sends the keeper the wrong way and emphatically plants it into the bottom corner. And then he raises both hands to drum up the enthusiasm of the crowd. It's advantage again. It's 2-1 Wrexham in the penalty shootout, but they have taken a spot kick more and stepped forward. Nottingham Forest hero in regular time, the man who scored 2 goals to make a 3-1 deficit back to 3-3. It's Callum Hudson-Odoi who steps on.
Yeah, and he's had a really good evening. As I say, he's brought Nottingham Forest back into this game.
Pressure on him now though, needs to make this count. Short run up, Hudson-Odoi smacks it in. Keeper chose the right way, but when it's hit that well into the inside of the side netting, there's no saving those.
No, and that sums up his evening. I think he's been outstanding, and you're right. Even though the goalie goes the right way, he has the pace and the power to get into that far corner.
This is 5 Live for the BBC. We're also live on BBC Sounds tonight. The opening evening of FA Cup 3rd round weekend. What a thriller. What a thriller this has proved to be. 3-3 after extra time. And now, with a penalty shootout at 2-2, each side having taken 3 penalties, each side having scored 2 and missed 1, and George Thomason steps forward. And again, it's a short run-up. And Matt Sells is doing the old Bruce Grabeler, the wobbly legs on the goal line. And Thomason drills it in. Oh, that was just as good as Hudson-Odoi. Smacked into the same spot. Advantage to Wrexham once again.
Yeah, it's a great, you know why it's a brilliant penalty? Because he goes that same way, Sells, and he just whips it. That's why I thought James McLean was going to go. Pressure penalty now for Nico Williams.
Nico Williams, who is from these parts. He was born in a village on the outskirts of Wrexham, and here he is back in such familiar surroundings, and yet he is an outsider here. He is one of the opposition. The Welsh international has Welsh voices booing him as he steps forward here. Nico Williams for Nottingham Forest. Important penalty. Here it comes, right footed, planted into the bottom corner. Again, Okonkwo chose the right side. He's done that now 3 penalties in a row, but he couldn't keep this one out. And it's all square again with 4 penalties taken each. It's 3-3 in the shootout.
Yeah, Congo looks massive in the goal and Souls looks very small. And you're right, he is guessing the right way. He was unlucky there. But big one this, I think it's J. Rodriguez now, I think, Connor.
J. Rodriguez comes forward. Probably more FA Cup experience than anyone on the pitch. And yet, we've already seen James McLean, an experienced player, fluff one of these. Can J. Rodriguez keep his cool? Still has the old hair tied back behind his head as he's always had. Here he comes, right-footed, J. Rodriguez, keeper didn't move, and he plants it in to the right-hand side. Matt Sells thought there was going to be some kind of fancy Panenka or something, and he's planted the corner, and now, if Omari Hutchinson fails to score, Wrexham are going to be through to the 4th round of the FA Cup.
Yeah, and he hasn't had the greatest of evenings as well, so it's a pressure penalty for Omari Hutchinson. But yes, Sells is looking over to the bench like someone just basically said stand still with the Rodriguez one, because he did not dive. You're right, big penalty is the pressure penalty.
I was at Brentford on Wednesday when a Sunderland penalty kick ends up a fade. He went to Penenkin and Queven Kelleher just stood there and saved it. Right, this could be the decider. Sudden death. Omari Hutchinson, short run up for Nottingham Forest, left-footed penalty. Nottingham Forest, and the Hollywood story continues. Wrexham are into the 4th round of the FA Cup. 3-3 after extra time. They win it. They win it 4-3 on penalties. And the hero is the goalkeeper, Arthur Okonkwo.
He is the hero, Connor. I did not fancy Omari Hutchinson at all taking that penalty. I said he had a disappointing evening, and listen, he's unfortunate. No one likes to see anyone miss a penalty. But Okonkwo, he looked massive in that goal, and it's a brilliant. He's made 2 outstanding saves, but that one in particular, he just reads where Hutchinson is, and it's fantastic. Brilliant save. 5
wins in a row for Wrexham in all competitions. Into round 4 for the 3rd time in 4 seasons. But this is another low ebb in this disappointing, depressing season for Nottingham Forest. This time last year they were 3rd in the Premier League. How the mighty have fallen, hovering above the relegation zone and now out of the FA Cup, beaten by a team who just 4 years ago were a non-league side.
Yeah, definitely. Huge credit must go to Wrexham. It's a lottery. I get that with penalties, but the way Forest started the game, nowhere near good enough. If they dealt with how they played in the second half, they would have won this game convincingly. So full credit must go to Wrexham. Outstanding result. Forest back to the drawing board and trying to stay in the Premier League.
Well, what a night. And you know, we said right at the start, Aaron, every year people say, oh, does the FA Cup matter? Does the magic still exist? Well, you should see what we're looking at here. The magic of the FA Cup, loud and live and strong. And these Wrexham fans, what a journey they have been on, and yet every hurdle greeted with such glee, and they've yet to find a mountain they cannot climb. And who knows where this team goes, and who knows where this manager goes. But right here, right now, this is a moment to savour. Since the American owners came in, all the attention on this club, they've always wondered, will we ever be good enough to take on a Premier League team and beat them? And that answer, for the first time, but very likely not the last time, has been answered here tonight. Wrexham have beaten Nottingham Forest and go through.